evolving with each advancement in technology and constantly adapting to meet your needs. We've been with you since 1891, sharing your passion for photography. And we are here for you now. You're one step away. Start capturing the moment today with Dodd Camera, where the focus is on you.
Dreaming of that backyard golf oasis? Hi, I'm LPGA Tour player Natalie Golbis. I'm excited to say that your dream is within reach thanks to the premium synthetic turf products from Golf Greens by Foreverlawn. Imagine this, a backyard with your own custom putting green where you can practice your short game and entertain guests. You choose the design of your golf green and surrounding landscape with the help of a Foreverlawn Golf Greens expert. Jimmy, you need a little help with your putting.
Visit golfgreens.com to schedule a free consultation today.
Want to keep your hairline where it is? Through Hims.com, you can explore a range of options that work best for you, so you can grow visibly thicker and fuller hair in just 3 to 6 months. Keep it looking strong for years to come with doctor-trusted ingredients like finasteride, minoxidil, and a blend of supplements that support healthy hair. 3 in 4 Hims customers say they wish they started using hair treatment earlier. Get ahead now to keep the hair you love. Get started today at Hims.com.
Switch to Square and join over 4 million businesses worldwide. Turn tables fast with Square Register at the counter or Square Terminal in your hand. Get a POS that connects to a KDS to handle orders ASAP. Easily take orders in person or online. And with Square Banking, get a loan quickly for everything from small repairs to the biggest dreams. Gain time and peace of mind with restaurant tools that bring everything together. Switch to Square today. Visit square.com to get started.
The Michael K. Show on Yes is brought to you by Untuck It. Shirts designed to be worn untucked. Shop now at untuckit.com.
And a good afternoon, everybody. This is indeed the Michael K. Show. We thank you for joining us on this Monday, November 11th, 2024. Michael, Don, Peter with you until 6:30. And before we talk sports, we should talk Veterans Day, and today we thank all the men and women that put their lives on the line to give us the lives that we enjoy. So thank you to each and every one of them presently in service, or if they have ever served in their lives. It's just an amazing thing that you have done for all of us. So thank you very, very much on this Veterans Day.
Beautifully said.
Thank
Michael.
you.
Beautifully said. I hope there are veterans right now listening in a relaxed, vacation-like environment. Sipping a Mai Tai somewhere, if you will.
Well,
you know what I mean?
If there are veterans that are Jet or Giant fans, lost to what was then the worst team in football in Germany. So now that you could say the Giants are the worst team in football. And we kind of poo-pooed all the experts that said the Giants were going to be so terrible. I guess we were wrong and they were right. I didn't see this coming. But the Jets, once again, we take the okey doke from the Jets and we get fooled by a Thursday night game where they played better than we thought they were going to play, and we thought that they would roll with it. And they came out yesterday and they didn't show up. And they didn't show up defensively. It was laughable. And I'm sorry, Aaron Rodgers, a Hall of Famer, is a dink and dunk quarterback. That's all he is. I mean, he essentially averages I have the number written down here. I believe it's 4.8 yards per attempt, 4.3 yards per attempt. Now, you throw in that one Hail Mary, and that number is obviously bloated just a little, probably about 4 yards an attempt. It's unbelievable. He never throws the ball downfield. Is something wrong with his arm? Is he not getting enough protection? I don't get it. He's got two great wide receivers there. Watching him yesterday and watching the defense yesterday, and they keep saying, well, the effort wasn't there. It's not the effort. You guys are not as good as you think you are. Sauce Gardner doesn't know how to tackle. The whole team doesn't know how to tackle. And Aaron Rodgers, I said this when they got him, if they didn't win a playoff game, I was saying even if they didn't go to the Super Bowl, it was an abject failure. I could never have imagined this. The whole Aaron Rodgers experiment is one of the worst things to ever happen in the history of the New York Jets. That's how bad it's been. It has set them back and will continue to set them back for the next 5 years. It's that bad.
I remember this summer, we had conversation after conversation about what the Jets would be if Aaron Rodgers was just Aaron Rodgers. And, Michael, I think eventually you and I were on the same page. I think you were on the same page as me. When I started to ask, but why have we decided that Aaron Rodgers at 40 years old will still be Aaron Rodgers? Why? Why was that the assumption that after a year away from the game, essentially a year and a half away from the game, and older, and when his last full season was pretty good, but wasn't Aaron Rodgers good? So really we're about 3 years away, maybe more, from the Aaron Rodgers we truly remember. Why did we all assume, or so many of us assume, that he was just going to go right back to being Aaron Rodgers? Because, guys, the truth is, let's just say it, he's not good. He's not a good quarterback anymore.
No, he's a middling quarterback.
Not his toy, his baby. An absolute dynamo as an all-pro wideout who's his guy. They got him. He's still not good. And we can blame the line. We can blame everything else we want. But the bottom line is he's not the guy he used to be. It's over.
But the scary thing is he's not the only problem they have.
Sure.
This defense was supposed to be epic. It was supposed to be amazing. And they were shredded. Shredded. I mean, they allowed points in every possession of the first half. 3 touchdowns and a field goal. I mean, that's poor defense. How is this defense so bad? And Sauce Gardner, I don't know what happened to him. I mean, he may cover well. He can't tackle. That was a big turning point in that game. They're going to get off the field, and they gain 17 yards because he can't tackle. He's a holding penalty and a pass interference waiting to happen. What happened to him? Where is this pass rush? They're not putting any pressure on the quarterback. You should not be shredded by Kyler Murray and the Arizona Cardinals in that fashion. You shouldn't be. So the defense is a problem. The offensive line is a problem. They can run the ball. They can run the ball. And the reason we found that out, guys, is because the quarterback won't throw the ball downfield. Why? Is he trying to have a higher completion percentage? The one guy, the one talent they have that I think has lived up to expectations since that trade has been Wilson, because I think he has really kind of gotten in a groove since Devontae got here, because he wasn't great in the first half of the season before Devontae got here. So the talent's not there. The quarterback is not there. They're not even coached. I mean, I really just feel bad for Ulbrich. He shouldn't be a head coach, Michael. Maybe that's why the defense has been so bad, because his responsibilities as defensive coordinator now have been taken away by being a head coach that he's not ready to be.
And what a terrible aging of a decision that firing is of Saleh. It did nothing. They're worse. They are worse because post-Saleh's firing.
Because what we're going to find out when this season is over is that no matter how you felt about Saleh as a head coach, and I think we can all agree he wasn't a great head coach, but he was able to keep the room together because now it just became Aaron Rodgers' team, and nobody wants to go play for a player. They want to play for the team. They want to play for themselves. They're going out there trying. So I'm supposed to go out there and break my neck so that Aaron Rodgers can try to get another Super Bowl? So that Aaron Rodgers can waltz into the Hall of Fame? So that Aaron Rodgers can be proven right? That's no way to go out there and play football for a guy. You play for the team. You play for one another, not for a guy. And I think Saleh balanced that out, Michael. And then when Saleh was out the door, it became Rodgers' team, and it doesn't seem like anybody wants to play for the guy.
Well, they don't want to play for him because he's not a good player. If he was a great player, they'd play for him. You would play for a guy if he was a great player. He is pedestrian. He can't move around. He can't elude a rush. He doesn't throw the ball downfield. I mean, it's ridiculous what he's become.
And also, Michael, he'll eventually say it's on me, but he'll have no problem pointing the fingers on all the other things that are wrong with the team, including Mike Williams, who eventually got traded and, oh, by the way, had an impact on a team that's going to go to the playoffs in Pittsburgh. Sorry, Peter,
He
but it
did.
had to be said.
That was a big play.
Right. So, yeah, you're right, Michael. He's not living up to his expectations. But even if he were, the fact is, do you think all these guys want to be told that it's their fault the team stinks?
The team, you said it so many other things, though. I think a fish rots from the head, and the head of the team is Aaron Rodgers. He's not good. I'm sorry, and the defense shouldn't be affected by that, but I think it is.
I also just want to say, before we even talk to Jets fans or I see the annoying tweets, as God is my witness, I turn on this team every week. I don't know about you guys, and I really want them to play well. Especially this week. But I don't want football to die. I was hoping we'd come in. Guys, Denver lost in ridiculous fashion.
Everything happened for the Jets yesterday.
They got all the help they needed to be alive.
This is how we opened last week, guys. This AFC's open. And if they were remotely good, they might have been able to take advantage of it and can't. Everything broke, just about everything broke their way. Not everything. Pittsburgh still won their game, but Denver lost. They could still be very much alive in this thing, and they're not because of them. And for the second consecutive year, things breaking for them. Cincinnati loses, and they can't take advantage of it. You're right, Michael. I mean, it's an Aaron Rodgers problem, but I don't want to take away from all the other things that haven't lived up to expectations. This defense is supposed to be great. And it's not even close to being great. They've got problems on special teams. They got an owner that decided he wanted to create a spark. They've won one game since then. Oh, by the way, against the team that they always seem to beat. They've got 3 wins. It's not happening. It's over. Now the question is, can you get out from Rodgers? Because guess what? If Rodgers wants to come back, he's coming back.
Yeah, it's guaranteed.
So you better hope that you're so disgusting that maybe Rodgers doesn't want to come back. Again, I'm not for tanking, but that's probably more so than a pick. Just be so bad that he doesn't want to return to your team. Actually be bad enough for him to want to go to retirement, because if he decides he wants to come back, he's coming back.
Think about the ramifications of getting into bed with this guy. You have destroyed your franchise because the Jets were on an upward trend. The arrow is pointing up. Joe Douglas was actually accumulating talent. All they needed was a quarterback, and they decided this was the guy. Now, maybe it would have been the guy. Maybe the Achilles set him back, and we'll never know. But he's not the guy. He hasn't been the guy. He missed all but 4 plays last year. He has played every play essentially this year, and he has not lived up to the advanced billing. He is nowhere close to the quarterback that the Jets got in bed with. They got in bed, and they ruined their franchise. And Woody is, as Peter said earlier, what a clod move by Ambassador Johnson to actually fire Robert Saleh. Did it provide a spark? You know what? The spark started a fire, and the fires burned down the house.
Ambassador Johnson?
But let's not forget, when you talk about the Jets being on an uptick, they still didn't have their quarterback because they picked the wrong one in Zach
Get
Wilson.
it, but there are other quarterbacks that were available.
Yeah, but Michael, I still don't want to take away responsibility from the Jets. They had a chance to go out and get a great quarterback, and they did. And now he didn't turn out to be good. But let's not make it seem like that still wasn't the best option. And the reason why they were searching for a quick fix at quarterback is because they screwed up Zach Wilson, either by picking him or screwing him up once he got
But just think about it, though. I'm not Monday morning quarterbacking because I was wondering, at the time, why Rodgers? And we all signed off and said, I guess that's the best thing available. Baker Mayfield's way better than Aaron Rodgers right now. Way better.
So is Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, both of them. Way better. And you would be way better if you had them. Aaron Rodgers is not the same player as he used to be. And you got a player, you gambled that a 40-year-old would be the same thing he was when he's 30 because everybody got Tom Brady glasses on. They think everybody could do it. Tom Brady did it. Tom Brady was great at 45. He retired. He probably still had 2 more years. He's a unicorn. He's a freak.
It's never happening.
Never happening again. Never. And the Jets thought it was going to happen with Aaron Rodgers because Aaron Rodgers talks a great game, and he's full of it. That's what he is. He's full of it with his darkness retreats and all of that and the way he treats his body. I'm going to tell you another thing, too. You think maybe missing the mandatory minicamp might have some impact. They don't seem like they're on the same page. We all said that, you know what, if he goes out and does what he's supposed to do, we'll forget about him going on vacation instead of going to mandatory minicamp. I haven't forgotten. They stink. So you have to look now and go, well, why do they stink? Their quarterback was not at a mandatory minicamp.
Right. Michael, they have an owner who would rather have another job. They have a quarterback who'd rather be on vacation. This team stinks from the top.
And that's why you wonder if anything would have ended up working.
Maybe not.
Because the other name was mentioned was Carr. Well, that wouldn't have worked out. He hurt his shoulder, and now it's not working out in New Orleans, so maybe it wouldn't have worked out here either. But let's also not forget, guys, the real reason why Aaron Rodgers was number one with a bullet, the quarterback to get. Yes, it was because he won a Super Bowl. Yes, it was because he's on his way to the Hall of Fame. It created a buzz, guys, and we were all intoxicated by it for 2 years. It put the Jets on the map. It had the Jets in the conversation. Yeah, it ended up dying and burning. But you know how much dominant the Jets were in the conversation in the back page of the newspapers in every bar in New York City? Aaron Rodgers this, Aaron Rodgers that. It dominated an entire summer leading into when he eventually got traded here. And all but when he started to play, and then the Achilles, and now, all this offseason, Rodgers is going to be back. Secretly, Michael, I think Woody got what he wanted. He could have went out and got another quarterback, a younger quarterback, but not creating the buzz that he wanted to create. But it ends up crashing and burning no matter what they do. But they wanted the buzz, Michael. The other quarterbacks wouldn't have created that. And I think Woody Johnson wanted that.
Okay, so they wanted the buzz, and maybe that's the truth. And the best way to create buzz is actually to win games. So somewhere, some of their football people say, oh, this is the guy we have to have. And by the way, the football people that decided this is the guy we have to have, they're the same people that drafted the quarterback that didn't work out, Zach Wilson. So, I mean, are we trusting them with picking quarterbacks? They went and begged this guy. It's almost the same thing. That's what's happening with all the teams that are kneeling at the altar of Juan Soto. Oh, let's go beg him. The whole contingent, they flew out to California to meet with Aaron Rodgers and beg him to come play for the Jets. And as Peter said earlier, they've given him every toy that he could possibly want. He's the kid at Christmas who's spoiled that there's toys piled up. He's got Lazard. He's got Devontae Adams. He's got everybody he ever wanted, and he still can't play. He can't throw the ball downfield. Please, somebody answer me that. Is it the Achilles? Is he unable to throw? Is there something wrong with his arm? That's not the Aaron Rodgers I watched in Green Bay. He can't. He's a dink and dunk quarterback. What happened to him?
Yeah, it's pretty incredible what's happened. I mean, he looked so brilliant against New England, but that was New England. But this is Arizona. They're not a great defensive team. They're okay. They're a nice team. They were a 1-point favorite in the game, Michael. They blew the doors off the Jets. That game was over before it even started.
They destroyed them. They embarrassed them.
It was embarrassed by the Arizona Cardinals. So can we finally put to bed the whole there's a path? There's no path because there's no car to drive on the path. But you're right, Michael. It's always about winning. You win, and then you'll get the attention, you'll get the accolades. But that's never been the case. Even going back to Rex, God love him, and I know a lot of Jet fans want him to be the coach again, and they did go to back-to-back championship games. But even then, Michael, it was all the bold predictions, and it was all just trying to create a buzz. That's all it ever ends up being. When is this team ever just going to get down to the business of actually building a team that's good enough to win? And then you'll get all the accolades, and then you'll get all the attention, and then everybody will want to come to your stadium and watch you play. Don't put the cart before the horse, but that's what they do all the time. And now they're going to end up having to blow it up. But the question is when. Because if Rodgers decides to come back, Michael, then you're going to be at his whim again.
If he comes, because there's going to be a new coach. It's not going to be Elbrick. Imagine you hire, let's say, Woody goes and becomes Ambassador Johnson to Honduras, whatever. And they decide they actually convince Bill Belichick with a $20 million a year contract to come play. To come be the coach. You think he wants to be saddled with a 41-year-old quarterback? You think any new coach wants to be saddled with a 41-year-old quarterback coming off this season?
Well, Michael, never mind getting Bill Belichick. It would just be, does Rodgers want Bill Belichick? Because if Rodgers decides to come back, he's choosing the coach.
No, you can't let him do that anymore.
Well,
because there's going to be a new GM.
But do we even know any of that's going to be the case? It's up to Aaron, right? You think Woody is just going to do it by himself, or is he going to run it by Rodgers?
You can't let Rodgers. Rodgers at most has next year. You can't do it. Release him.
But will you?
They should, because you know what? He's been toxic.
What they should do. Never mind what they should do. What are they going to do?
I think they would
come back. All of a sudden, they're going to grow a pair and do something.
Yeah, I think they have to. Because what has he ever proven to them that he should be revered as the way he is? He's not Packer Rodgers. He's Jet Rodgers. It's a different player. It's not the guy to revere anymore. He's done nothing for the organization. Nothing. He's kneecapped them. The only organization he's done a lot for is Pat McAfee's show. He actually gets eyeballs there. He has been not one bit of a positive for the New York Jets. Not one bit.
Michael, honest question. You think the Jets do better or worse yesterday if Tyrod Taylor plays?
Better.
I think so, too. We are to pull. Listen, hear me out. He has just now, it just happened. In the last week, Aaron Rodgers has officially passed the threshold to me of worse than Tyrod Taylor. I think he is worse than Tyrod Taylor.
I've never seen a quarterback that doesn't throw the ball downfield. This is Aaron Rodgers.
Tyrod still has an arm and can throw the ball. Rodgers and Michael, even when he's not throwing the ball downfield, on really basic short plays, he'll miss a receiver by 5 yards.
If everything that you're saying is right, and I'm not saying you're wrong, and that Tyrod Taylor would be a better quarterback, and you're hoping Aaron Rodgers doesn't come back at the end of the season, and you want to be able to tell him what to do instead of vice versa, then there is zero reason for him to play next week. Zero reason. Because then bench him.
That would be the move.
Right, that would be the move to do, right? But to let him know, let the world know that we're done with Aaron Rodgers, buddy. But if you're going to continue to let him play... And if I'm right, and I really do believe that I am, that it was a Woody Johnson decision to fire Saleh, how do you think that's going to age when they decide to go into the offseason and Aaron goes to Woody? Well, you decided to go rogue on me, and what'd you do? You let go of Saleh, and the season went south. So now I'm going to be the one that's going to decide who's going to be the coach. And what do you think Woody's going to say then?
I'll tell you what. If Robert Saleh has an ounce of me in him, he is rejoicing over this. I was the problem? You think I was the problem? You got rid of me to provide a spark? How's it working out, Ambassador Johnson?
You know what, Michael? Johnson? I usually disagree with you with this because most coaches and players always think opposite of you on this. Not that I got to know Saleh that much, but Saleh would be nuts not to be thinking like you right now.
He will never admit it.
He would never admit it.
Not the kind of man that he is. Michael, you should just text him and say, I know you won't say it because you're too good a guy.
Just text him
and say, just so you know, I'm also happy for you that this team stinks so bad. Because they really are making it clear this was not only not a Robert Saleh thing, they were better in the hands of Robert Saleh.
Well, because they had a reason to play. What's their reason to play? To prop up Aaron Rodgers? Just so that they can get blamed for not doing enough to get him a win?
This is almost like Woody went to Johnson, and John said, you know what, maybe we should put sandpaper in our powder. That might work. That's the kind of decision this is. That's the kind of decision this is. What did Robert Saleh do to deserve to get fired? What did he do? Now, yeah, is he Vince Lombardi? No. But I don't know if Vince Lombardi could win with a quarterback who's averaging 4.3 yards per attempt. This is Aaron Rodgers.
But what's happening? Like, it's crazy. Like, he looked okay last Thursday with almost no rest, and then he gets the de facto bye, and it looks like that.
And Don, he can't move.
No, but you know what? That's what, Michael. There's some days where, right at our age, right, where you for some reason you feel a little spry. And then there's some days you can't get out of bed. You don't know why. That's what happens when you get to a certain age. I guess some Sundays it's okay, and then some Sundays it's not there. But there's no consistency in the game.
Oh, but okay, so that could explain the maneuverability, but the throwing? This is per yard, per attempt for the year, 4.3. It's almost like he got spooked by those picks that he threw early. Like he doesn't want to get thrown, have an interception. It's unbelievable. Well, I was watching that game, slack-jawed at how bad they were. I mean that is the height of embarrassment, and it bothers me that Ulbrich continues to take the hit. It's on me. No, it's not on you. It's on your quarterback. It's on you defensive players that refuse to tackle.
But there was nothing that said that he should be a head coach. It's a good defensive coordinator, and they couldn't give it to Hackett when they fired Saleh. Like
Hackett wouldn't have been worse.
But I guess he just didn't want to do that because of how awful it went in Denver. And he didn't want to take any attention away from Aaron Rodgers because Hackett would have to do other things. So he took what was the best part of this team, their defensive coordinator, make him a head coach when he wasn't ready to be a head coach, did damage to the defense. Listen, I don't want to take any of the negative shine away from Aaron Rodgers. You're right about everything you said. But Woody's firing of Saleh really just set this down the cliff. It really did. Not to say that if Saleh stayed, they would be winning a championship or even going to the playoffs. It wouldn't look like this, Michael. It did the exact opposite. He wanted to create a spark, the exact opposite.
And everyone we've spoke to, on and off the air, everyone, really, Rodgers had nothing to do with Saleh being fired. He was really upset. Everyone. I saw him shove the guy on camera and give him a look when Saleh wanted to celebrate. I saw him come to the podium and throw the guy under the bus. Later joined there by Mike Williams when he said, well, maybe just have more discipline about, all the penalties and stuff like that, or eliminating. He hung the guy out to dry because Aaron Rodgers is one of those guys. He's going to take some of the blame, but he's going to sprinkle enough blame around so it looks like he has culpable deniability, that it's not all on him. So I'm sure he had something to do with Saleh getting fired. Something. He might not have overtly did it, but those actions did not help Robert Saleh.
But I think Rodgers was smart enough to know the damage it would cause if Saleh was gone. You're right about everything that he said, throwing him under the bus and the little shove that we saw on TV. But I think he realized it would derail the season if he were gone. He had to have seen the mess that this would have created. How do you have somebody who's never done it before be an interim coach and then turn around and think that that's going to save the season? That doesn't happen in football. It's never happened in football. Why would it happen here? At least these guys wanted to play for Saleh. They respected Saleh. Now they're playing for Aaron Rodgers, and clearly they don't want to. Because there's no way that defense should be this bad.
Amazing.
No,
it's just amazing.
Zero reason.
It's amazing.
Maybe it is overrated. It was overrated when they compared them, when Reed compared them to the 85 Bears, Michael. It shouldn't be this bad. They should not be raked the way they were yesterday. Did not get a stop in the first half? Give me a break.
You mentioned Sauce Gardner, right? Mm-hmm. Last 26 games, no interceptions, 1 forced fumble, 1 sack. Last interception was November 6, 2022 against Buffalo. According to Jets X Factor, has a missed tackle rate of 23.7% this year, more than double his 11.6% rate over the first 2 seasons.
What the
Yeah. F? Peter, we need some better help.
With ButcherBox, you never have to worry about what's for dinner. We deliver grass-fed beef, organic free-range chicken, humanely raised pork, wild-caught seafood, and so much more. Get high-quality meat sourced from trusted partners with free shipping always, so you can always be prepared and enjoy the important things. Sign up for ButcherBox today.
With Udemy, there's a world of possibility at your fingertips. With one click, you're in the leading online marketplace for learning and skills. Want to become an AI expert? This is learning from real-world experts around the globe. Want to awaken your artistic side? This is learning your way. Want to switch professions? Help your team reskill? This is Udemy, the power of possibilities.
Investing is not for everyone, right? Wrong. Wealth comes from pennies. Like oaks come from acorns. Wealth comes from the decision to invest, to bury your acorns, give them time to grow into a mighty oak like squirrels do. You see, investing was never meant to be an exclusive club. You just didn't have the right tools for it. Now you do, buckaroo. Acorns. Grow your own. Look at that. Beautiful.
It was a game day, so I had to wear my whole cheer attire.
It was a clumsy kiss. Like I had sweat beads coming down my face. If I could do it again, I probably would have had a sweat rag.
I would probably have it done at the beach.
Keeping your lips smooth since before you knew how to use them.
Do it again?
Yes.
Hydration is essential.
And Advocare Rehydrate makes it delicious. With 8 refreshing flavors like berry lemon ice and pomegranate tangerine, there's a bold flavor for your everyday. Salty electrolyte drinks are out, and Rehydrate is in. With a 1-to-1 sodium to potassium ratio, that means it's a hydration drink mix you'll actually enjoy drinking. Use code THIRSTY to get a free sample pack with your first order of Rehydrate, and try all the best flavors to find your favorite.
Managing my credit card debt was overwhelming, and it just wasn't a good place to be. My name is Carter, and Upstart helped me get rid of that credit card debt with a personal loan. Checking my rate with Upstart was super quick, super easy. It took me a few minutes to get my pre-approval and to get my interest rate. I got my money the next day. To just have one due date a month and only paying one person made my life a lot easier. Super easy to the point that I referred my friends to come and get a loan with Upstart.
Easy online borrowing. Personal loans up to $50,000. Go to Upstart.com.
People are always asking me, where did you get those shoes? Like sneakers perfect for holiday shopping and bringing all kinds of joy to your world. Or cozy booties that pair well with hot chocolate and holiday movie binges. And of course, the perfect party shoes for every event on your calendar this season. Find gifts for your girls or just for you in my collection at DSW.
Switch to Square and join over 4 million businesses worldwide. More than a point of sale, Square keeps you ready for any restaurant rush. And with Square, there are no hidden fees ever. At Square, get 24/7 support to help keep lines moving. And with Square Banking, get a loan quickly for everything from small repairs to the biggest dreams. Gain time and peace of mind with restaurant tools that bring everything together. Switch to Square today. Visit square.com to get started.
Every time I get stressed about having to pay my bills, I just hop on the bike, man.
Oh, come on, man. You got to pay your bills.
You don't have to worry about anything when you're protected by America's #1 motorcycle insurer.
Well, you definitely do. Those things aren't related, so...
Ah, yeah. Oh, that is a vibrating pain.
AE drink spray? AE drink spray.
You want to hoop like Anthony Edwards? Practice. You want a refreshing drink? Obey your thirst. And I tried to tell him, man. Oh, I know. Sprite. Obey your thirst.
There's no place like the road home. Receive a $5,500 bonus on a new 2024 Audi Q5 plug-in hybrid during the Season of Audi sales event.
Hate is loud. It gets clicks. It gets attention. Hate, however, is actually quite small. But love. Love is the majority. Love fills our hearts, our lives, our everyday.
The Scott Van Pelt Report brought to you by Bigelow Tea and Bay Ridge Honda. Scott, you know, I don't know if you realize this, the Dolphins are the lone Florida team that could actually stop a shutout. 9 college teams in Florida and 2 Florida football teams yesterday in the NFL lost. The Dolphins are the last chance.
Yeah, I've been keeping tabs on it throughout the week. It's one of those sort of anomalies that feels like an outlier that couldn't possibly be, right, given the historical greatness of a lot of the different programs in college. But there's a number of them that are down. Obviously, Miami gets upset. Jacksonville is a mess at the moment. So I guess it's Miami's the last team standing. Rams getting some offensive linemen back. I mean, they don't have a home field advantage as such. So I mean, maybe Miami can pull it off. But I don't know. The Rams have been hot of late. But it's just wild. One of those goofy things. I've been keeping tabs on it all week. Just didn't seem it didn't seem possible. But here we are.
So who is the best team in the NFC West?
it's so hard not to say San Francisco, just given what they've demonstrated through the years, particularly in November and December, Don. I believe in them. I feel like it's harder to quit good teams than it is to suddenly buy a bad team's better, if that makes any sense. I think I feel like San Francisco is going to be that team. And as I say that, if there are any Arizona fans listening, they're saying, well, Scott, we went to San Francisco and beat them. We beat the Rams as well, and that's true. And they played really well. And as Jet fans saw, Arizona's playing well. I just think if you're giving me a chance to buy San Francisco stock at a deflated price, I'll take all you're going to give me.
All right. Does yesterday officially end the ridiculousness of supporting the Jets and thinking, well, there's a run there. The schedule's not that bad. There's certainly a lane. Scott, they stink.
Yeah, listen. This is like Peter mentioned the memo, right? That we're supposed to talk about, and I think I mentioned that with you all last week that Damian, Woody, and I took a look at the schedule and go, they could probably win those games, and then Damian quickly said, yeah, and they could lose them all as well. You're right, Michael. Yesterday, they're talking about they didn't have energy. Coach Ulbrich said he didn't have them ready. Well, then that's a complete systemic breakdown / failure for your group. They gave up drive after drive, not just scoring drive, touchdown drive after touchdown drive. You're right. They're not good. And so, we can do this same Groundhog Day every Monday or every Sunday if people insist upon it. But you're right. They're just, as it is, as constructed, whatever they were thought to be, they're not. They're not a good football team.
And what do we do about Rodgers? It's obviously going to be up to him whether he wants to come back or not, but they're not going to really be able to do anything unless they can plan an exit strategy from him, because if he doesn't have it now, what to lead to believe that it's all of a sudden he's going to find it next year?
Who's we? Because it's not my issue, man. The Jets created this monster, and now they have to figure out what it is that they intend to do. Rodgers has been a great quarterback, a legendary career. There's no arguing any of that. But at this stage of the game, health-wise, I don't know. Do you just punt? That would leave both the Jets and the Giants to try to look at their quarterback situations and organizationally ask themselves, how do we pivot from this? Neither of them is an easy exit.
That's one thing that Don and I gently disagree about, because he said, well, if Rodgers wants to come back, you have to let him. Well, if the Jets season continues to spiral downward, the coach is gone, the GM is gone. Why would any new organization want to keep a soon-to-be 42-year-old quarterback that can't throw the ball downfield? He's a dink-and-dunk quarterback. I think you got to get rid of him.
There's a case to be made for that would happen, given that most in college, if it's a new AD, they tend to want a new coach. If it's in the NFL, if it's a new GM or coach, they tend to want to be able to pick their quarterback, and that's not an unreasonable ask. And the tricky thing is, I think that with someone who's been as great as Rodgers, that there is an understandable urge to convince yourself that he'll be what he was. And then he obviously got injured a year ago and four snaps in. And so this year was going to be the year. And then now you've got more than half of the seasons of evidence to prove to you that it's not going to be that. And your record is worse than it was a year ago with worse quarterback play. So, to turn away from that to something new would make sense to some, I'm sure.
Well, I just want to get that. I did not say they should bring him back. I just think if Aaron Rodgers wants to come back, he's coming back. I don't see how they get out of it.
That's fair too. You're going to owe him the money one way or another. So
right.
The question is, do you want to eat it? Do you want to have that sunk cost and say, the hell with it? We have to find a new path here, or do you just hope that as he's healthier or whatever, conceivably? I don't know, man. At some point. I'm experiencing this. I'm sure you guys aren't. But at some point, health-wise and whatever, age-wise, diminishing return sets in, and stuff just hurts for no reason. That's where I am in life. So,
me too.
Rodgers is going to get there soon enough.
Who loses first, the Chiefs or the Cavaliers?
The Cavaliers, just because they got more chances to do it. But good Lord, yesterday Denver did everything right. They played. It was interesting. I don't know if you guys saw this. That apparently the Chiefs' defense was trying to talk Spagnuolo into letting them score, letting Denver score so they could get the ball back and give Mahomes a chance. And Spagnuolo's like, the hell with that. And then of course they get the block on the field goal that would have beat them. They look. At some point, I'm going to stop doing the yeah, but, and just acknowledge it's an amazing run. It's 15 straight wins, and they don't seem to lose games even when they haven't been great. And largely this year they haven't been great. Really, I don't think they played one game where you go, wow, they really blew someone's doors off there.
You know, you look at the Steelers and the Commanders yesterday. And I think we're kind of punch drunk because we see such bad football in New York, and we have a group text that we have throughout the week. And I just said at one point, this is really big boy fun football. That was a really fun game, Scott.
I agree, and I mean, it's no secret where I'm from and who I root for. So it was a disappointing result in the end. I felt like that I thought Ertz caught the ball at the line to gain. I don't know, like if that was the end zone, they would have said touchdown. I mean, he crossed that line, and then he came back. Whatever. But listen, Washington had a bunch of drops. They had a number of possessions with a lead. They could have extended the lead. They weren't able to do it. But I'm with you. And we haven't seen a ton of that. Like we're going to get a bunch of them this weekend with the Chiefs and the Bills and the Steelers and the Ravens. You get good on good, and you're like, God, this is such a departure from so much of these other games that we see. And at the end of it, I'm like, all right, it's a bummer if you're Washington, you lose by one. But those are two good football teams, and I've been impressed by Wilson. Tomlin made the move. And everyone's like, what are you doing? Fields has been good. And Tomlin said he went Lone Ranger, and you see why. He's earned the right to make that call, and Wilson's made him look smart. He's making a ton of plays in the passing game that Fields hadn't been. And the defense that Pittsburgh's got's excellent, and Daniels is a young guy. So they get a game with Philly this week, Thursday. That's a huge one for Washington, but that was a fun football game. You're right.
Yeah, I mean, I so wanted to have the Steeler win in your pocket going into the Philly game, even though it's totally different, obviously, with this being a divisional game, but I just thought mentally it would have been nice to kind of have the beating an actual good football team monkey off the Commanders' back, and they don't have that. But you made such a great point. The Russell Wilson thing, man. Don and I this show in general, we're always on a quest to prove to people how great Mike Tomlin is, because it seems like for some reason every couple of years there's Steelers fans who want this guy out. How good does he look for what they're doing with Russell Wilson? He hasn't appeared to be this guy, Scott, in a good 2.5 years.
No, and he was with a guy in Peyton in Denver who's an offensive, quarterback whisperer type, a very well-respected coach, and he took one look at that and was like, no thanks. Now, granted, he inherited it, and the Wilson thing got off to such a bad start that it maybe was just irreparably broken. But no, he hadn't looked like this. It appeared that the days of him being this were done, and, he's a younger man than Rodgers, which is why I'm hesitant to completely write the obit for that guy in New York. But Wilson's turned a page, and look, they made him a captain, Peter, in camp, and that spoke to me that this new guy that came in with all that extra let's ride Broncos, whatever, and I'm sure Tom was like, look, we're not doing any of that nonsense. Put your head down and work. And from camp on, he earned that C on his sweater, metaphorically, and that said something to me. And then since he's played, it's three starts, 3 wins, and there they are ahead of the Ravens in that division as they finally play a divisional game.
We haven't had a chance to talk about this yet, Scott, but I guess you'll be the first to have an opinion on it. Have we seen the last of Daniel Jones?
I think so. I think so, Don, because of the money situation, and we saw it with Wilson in Denver. We saw it with Derek Carr with the Raiders. It would just be earlier. Coming out of the bye, I believe it's Tampa Bay, correct? And yes. Dable did not commit. They're gonna look at everything. Generally, when coaches say they're going to look at everything, and we saw this with Steichen and Flacco in Indianapolis, when they say they're going to look at everything, that tends to be code for we're going to make a change. That's my thinking on it anyway. And you're going to owe him like $23 million if he gets hurt, and I can't see that they want to commit to that given what we tend to see week in and week out from Jones. So that would be my guess, is that they'd make a change coming out of the bye against Tampa Bay.
Now, before we let you go, I've got some bad news for you, Scott, and you know how I feel about you, and I feel badly that I have to give you the bad news.
I do.
The New York Post just released the top 10 sexiest bald men for 2024, and Danny DeVito cracked the top 10, and you didn't. I don't get it.
That's
it doesn't
not right.
make sense to me, Scott.
Well, I mean, you go back to the. We're old enough to remember the days of Taxi. Any of the old heads remember Rieger. I think of him screaming Rieger. Now he's got a sub ad franchise on top of It's Always Sunny. I mean, he's got me whipped every way you look at it. I got no
Except
argument.
height.
I have a lumpy freckle. Well, that's true, but that's the only thing. My height helps you not see how lumpy and freckly my bald head is. I got no qualms with not being on that list.
I think you should be on that list, man. And I'm gonna campaign for you next year. I am, as a friend.
All right, you rattle some cages at the Post for me, will you?
All right, so Monday Night Countdown at 6 p.m. Scott's the guy who heads it up, and we thank you for coming on as always, Scott.
I enjoy it, boys. Have a great week.
All right,
Talk to you
too. That's the Scott Van Pelt Report, brought to you by Bigelow Tea, who encourage you to grab a mug. Tea proudly in Bay Ridge Honda. Right now, Bay Ridge Honda get the best value of the season during the Happy Honda Days sales event. Save on a new Honda from 1.9% financing. Visit BayRidgeHonda.com. Don Payne, I've got pain. What do I need?
Friends go.
One, these cuts have likely been sitting out all day long. Two, you have no idea when they were packaged or where they came from. That's why we choose to get our protein from ButcherBox instead. This is high quality meat you can trust and enjoy. It's packed and conveniently sent straight to your door, so you don't even have to think about your next grocery trip. Stock up your freezer and whip up a quality meal every night by checking out ButcherBox.com.
To bet on players so you can make your hunches happen. Right now, new customers bet $5 to get $150 in bonus bets if you win. Plus, all customers get 3 months of NBA League Pass on us. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook.
Dear non-stick surface. You're great for scrambling eggs, but to drive on, well, that's what it feels like when things get rough. Good thing we have amazing traction. Let's bond. Toyota all-wheel drive vehicles.
Get Black Friday savings all month long. Lease RAV4 with all-wheel drive for just $299 a month. Find yours at Toyota.com. Toyota. Let's go places.
Honey? But the gains are pumping.
Yeah, the market's closed.
Futures don't sleep in the after hours, bro.
Dad, is Mommy a finance bro?
She switched careers to make money for your weddings.
Ooh, penny stocks are blowing up. Sweetie, grab your piggy bank. We're going all in. Let me ask you, for your wedding, do you want a gazebo and a river?
What's a gazebo?
Something that your mother always wanted and never got.
Or you could give these different investment options a shot.
The right money moves aren't as aggressive as you think.
I'm keeping the vest.
Ethan was shot in the head in his best friend's house with an unsecured gun. The father, the gun owner, he stored his 3 guns and bullets in a shoebox. That has to be the most horrific experience that a human could ever have.
August was born 3 pounds, 9.8 ounces. When I first saw him, it was a whole range of emotions. There's stuff I still want to do. Being a young dad, it's not giving up. It's shifting. Just seeing him happy. I looked through his eyes. I envisioned a whole future with him already. To throw the first football to him, give him ice cream for the first time. I'm happy because he's advancing in life. My life is now devoted to his life.
Nothing feels as good as driving a new Hyundai. And now you can get a great deal on your favorite model at the Hyundai Getaway Sales Event. Plus, every Hyundai is backed by America's best warranty. Hurry to the Hyundai Getaway Sales Event before this offer ends. Make your next getaway your best one yet. Get an all-wheel drive Santa Fe for 1.99% APR for up to 72 months or lease for $269 a month. Hurry in.
If you're an asbestos victim, pay close attention. Billions of dollars are being paid out to people like you. We should know. We're Whites & Luxembourg, the law firm that already won over $9 billion for men and women just like you. That's right, over $9 billion for mesothelioma sufferers and their families. We know you're short of money, and we know you're short of time, so we fight hard. Call Whites & Luxembourg at 917-LAWYERS. That's 917-LAWYERS. Whites & Luxembourg, winning big for the little guy.
Untuck It makes every guy look better. From tall to short, from big to slim. From our iconic button-downs for all shapes and sizes to a whole lot more. Try us today. Untuck It. We just make guys look better. Oh, and we make great styles for her, too. Shop the sale now at untuckit.com and more than 80 stores worldwide.
A team grows in Brooklyn. Board by board. Block by block. Play by play. Shot by shot.
We got Nets.
You coming?
You're not going to get it all right. Just make sure you nail the big stuff. Like making sure your kids are in the right seat for their age and size. Get it right at nhtsa.gov/the right seat.
Just said Danny DeVito. Here's the top 10 sexiest bald men in the world.
Okay.
Prince William's number 1. The Rock is number 2. Shaquille's number 3. Kelly Slater, 4.
Not familiar with his work.
Terry Crews, 5. Danny DeVito, 6. Samuel L. Jackson, 7. Thierry Henry, 8. Stanley Tucci, 9. And Vin Diesel, 10. Notably absent Peter and Scott. I don't get it. I don't get it.
Well, Scott, for sure.
You don't think Peter's sexy? I do.
Well, no, I'm uncomfortable with this whole conversation.
Yeah, well, I'm not. I'm very secure.
But, no, it's not about being secure. It's just that who am I to decide what guy is sexy? But
well, who's supposed to decide?
The Post, I guess, which tells you right there, there's zero credibility.
Wow.
So, really, what's sexy about Shaq, honestly?
He's a billionaire.
So that's
Shaq's
it?
a billionaire?
Oh, yeah.
Good for Shaq.
That's strong, Michael.
Well, I mean, that money makes people sexy, I guess.
No, but I don't think he's a billionaire.
I would say he's pretty close. Every investment he's had seems to do well.
Oh, I thought you said it knowing it officially.
No, I don't know it officially.
Oh, no, I don't think he's a billionaire. I think he's a ton of money, though.
So he's a ton of money millionaire. A ton of money millionaire.
He's a half a billionaire.
Really?
That'll do.
That's not good enough.
No.
500 million to clear 500 million. That's
look, I just saw the replay of the first down. They didn't give Ertz.
You're still bothered by that, huh?
They got that right.
No, they didn't. It was a disaster, and everything about it was wrong.
But it doesn't
Stop the steal.
It would have been a touchdown.
Stop the steal.
It would have been
STEE.
Come on, that game was too big to steal. Come on, too big to rig.
Evidence of it being stolen.
No, I saw that. I saw everything I needed to see. They didn't want the Steelers to lose. I get it. No, it was a tough call. The one thing I'll maintain, I'll argue this, it's a shame that they got the original spot so bad because I think it makes it that much harder to get it right when they replay it.
Listen,
I thought they should have initially called it
I don't think it makes the show better when I agree with Peter, but I thought that was a first down.
I did not.
And just given the time, Michael, timing matters. You see the play happen. You go out to first down. They needed 10. Right. It was to save the game, and they hit it at the sticks. But it's a first down.
Yeah, but that's not how it works.
But it is how
they would have reviewed it. But they probably got it reviewed anyway.
But if they'd reviewed it, they would have had enough to overturn it.
I understand.
They were a yard off, a hash mark off.
But it's not breaking the plane like it is a touchdown. So forward progress would only be obtained if he was hit. Now, his momentum took the word. By the time he took the knee down, I thought the ball was before the line, and then he was contacted. So that's where he ended up being down.
Is that the rule for forward progress? Because I've never had that explained to me. So forward progress, if you catch the ball and your body accidentally takes you backwards, that's not forward progress. It's only if you're contacted?
Well, because that would be the only thing to stop you in that situation. Like, say, when you catch, like, you see somebody catch the ball, right? And then if they make a football move forward, well, then that would be the same as contact. Or they catch it, there's contact, and then they're driven back. No, that's forward progress. But in that situation, he caught the ball, then his own momentum takes him forward. His knee touches before the ball is across the line, and then he's contacted, so he's down there. So I think people are looking where he caught the ball, but what made it complicated is then he moves forward, his knee's down, and then he's contacted.
It was just an unusual play, and then obviously heartbreaking on the next play to get drawn offside. That's the killer. I don't know how they let the kid. I swear, right before the snap, I think it was Frankie Louvu, one of the Commanders' players, was clearly saying to everybody, don't move, don't
There's
move.
no way they were going for that.
There's no
They were
way.
trying to just draw him offside.
You don't know, though, because Tomlin had a
Yeah, but that made no sense, though. If they went for it, didn't get it, then they're in field goal range, essentially.
Yeah, they couldn't. It's too big. I hear you, Don. I thought they might. Well, but then you're handing them the game.
Yeah, but the only reason that you think about it is, and I wouldn't do it either, but now I got to put my head in Tomlin's space there, is that the benefit is you can end the game. If you don't get the first down, you're putting them close to field goal range, not in the field goal range just yet. But we've talked about it a million times, guys. It seems like whenever you get the ball, no matter who your quarterback is, you give them a minute, they should be able to get in the field goal range. The idea of punting the ball there almost feels like I'm giving them an excellent chance just to get in the field goal range. So why not control my own destiny? I wouldn't have done it, but I wouldn't have been shocked if Tomlin did it. But I guess based on their reaction, the way that the entire line, and especially the way Wilson reacted, made it seem like, oh, we got you. That's what we were trying to do, and we got you.
Let me tell you something, guys. There's losing, and then there's losing to Russell Wilson. It's
like dangerous.
Dangerous. Right, as I refer to
Mr. Unlimited.
Mr. Unlimited. Dangerous. It's so painful losing to him. He's such a tool. But Michael, I appreciate what you said. It certainly was a big boy football.
Oh, it was so fun to watch. It's so good.
What a game.
We are being robbed here. I don't even know what I would do, guys, if I was going through this at an
Right, there's a generation of youngsters that think this is the way football's played. The Jets and the Giants stink.
Never mind that, Michael, is that you have options. Like we have Sunday Night Football, Monday Night Football, Thursday Night Football. We've got the package. We're able to consume other football if we so choose. If this were 1978, that's all you get. We get the Giants at 1, Jets at 4 o'clock, or vice versa, and that's it. You hope to get a decent Sunday and Monday game, and then that's all you got. But at least you get alternatives here, and because the Jets play so many primetime games and the Giants too, for whatever reason, you'll get games on Sunday in your own market. But, Mike, you know how rare that was when we were kids? And I actually did go through it. The Jets and Giants stunk when I was a kid, but I didn't know any better. But, for some, 10-year-old now, it's like, you know what, they just won't be fans of the Jets and Giants. If this keeps up, guys, you wonder, is this going to erode the fan base? Because you've already got young kids who are only rooting for their fantasy team, or now they're rooting for their bet. And they don't have to sit there and watch the Jets and Giants. That's why there's so many Cowboy fans and Steeler fans, because those are the teams that are always in prime time. But right now, in this day and age, you can root for anybody you want. If they continue to play this poorly for this long a period of time, could it erode the fan base? It sounds crazy, but it could.
Football Mondays on 880 ESPN, brought to you by Infinity. Experience the Infinity lineup at your tri-state retailer today. Let's go to Muhammad in Long Island. Muhammad.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Thanks for taking my call, man. Love the show.
Thanks, man.
Don, I just want to say, if I'm having a bad day, anytime I think of PED, SHMED, it turns it around.
Wow. You don't hear someone mention that every day.
That's good, though. That shows you you're a true fan.
I'm gonna find it for you.
Let's find it for him.
By the time the call's over, I got you.
About the Jets, man. I was one of the few people who actually wanted Derek Carr. And everybody all the radio hosts and my friends, everybody told me I was nuts. We got a chance to get Rodgers. And I only looked at it like he's 40, man. And I've never seen a 40-year-old quarterback be great besides Tom Brady. And you can't, people use the example. Tom Brady did it. That's like saying Michael Jordan did. These guys are the greatest of all time. It's not something that happens, right? So it's like, and you got to put this on management for handing the the organization over to him, right? So even if you do compare it to Brady, when Brady went down to Tampa, I'm forgetting their coach's name. It's slipping my mind.
Bruce
right
Arians.
Bruce Arians.
Bruce Arians, right. He held Brady accountable, right? So Brady still had to answer to Bruce Arians, and it was somebody that he could trust and somebody who had cachet. When you brought Rodgers here, we had Robert Saleh. That wasn't someone that Rodgers could look up to and trust, and win a winning organization, right? So that was on management, and they brought us into the season with Zach Wilson as our backup quarterback. So suppose we were in a playoff race the first year, and we lost Rodgers for 2 to 4 weeks. We would have Zach Wilson to have to rely on. That was terrible. And I'm not one of the people that's down on the GM because Rookie of the Year, offensively and defensively, Quincy Williams, his brother, all of the things that he brought to this team, I cannot put the GM down.
Really? He got you Zach Wilson, too.
Terrible. Yeah, I know. I mean, but I know a lot of people were saying that he was handcuffed and that was the owner's pick. So, again, it's hard for me to, just...
Which, by the way, wouldn't surprise me. It did that one sort of did feel that way. And, by the way, as promised,
PDs, Schmeeds. But every general manager has somebody that they say, look who I drafted. Now, granted, that was a great draft considering he got the Rookie of the Year on both sides of the ball. But, Michael, you dig a little deeper. How deep is the team? He screwed up the quarterback, the most important position. Yep. Now, he's made some nice trades. He's done some good. He's done some bad. But you're in this situation because they screwed up.
That's right. There would be no Aaron Rodgers if Zach Wilson could play.
And it created an avalanche of mistakes since then.
Right.
So, yeah, he's got Sauce Gardner, and we'll see how that turns out. And he got Garrett Wilson, great. But is that enough to get up from surviving this whole thing?
Let me tell you about a brand new advertiser on the show, and I love it. I'm here to tell you about my friends at Shinesty. Here's what I'm doing right now. I'm wearing Shinesty.
The Michael K. Show on Yes is brought to you in part by Bigelow Tea, who encourages you to grab a mug and tea proudly.
It's amazing to think that my grandmother started Bigelow Tea right here in New York. And today, we're still a family company. And you have to remember, tea, that's all we do. So every cup counts. That means never compromising. My family won't let that happen. And our extended family, they give their all every single day. And our community, well, they expect that.
I want a cup of Bigelow Tea to be a moment just for you. That's what I hope for.
It's big, it's back, and it's only $6. Get the big box y'all love today. And this holiday season, you can order a Cajun-style turkey at your local Popeyes.
Love that chicken from Popeyes. I started having knee pain in my early 50s. I'm Phil Simms, pro football legend and TV analyst. My knee pain would wake me up during the middle of the night. It hurt me every time I played sports. If it was basketball, tennis, and even golf, I quit being active, and it got to a point where I want to be active, and that's why I'm sitting here today.
Arthritis Knee Pain Centers uses an image-guided procedure that allows them to place an all-natural cushioning gel directly into the affected joint, restoring mobility and relieving your pain without surgery or downtime.
I think what really surprised me is how easy it was and how there was no pain to the treatment.
It's covered by Medicare and most private insurance.
I have no pain. That's gone away, and I got to tell you, I feel great. I'm back to playing a little tennis. Played pickleball, which I said I would never do. Arthritis Knee Pain Centers, they relieved my pain and changed my life.
Call Arthritis Knee Pain Centers now and schedule your no-charge, no-obligation knee pain screening. Call 800-823-3160.
Hi, Eric.
Hi, Mel. Is now good for a quick catch-up on your plan?
Yes, now's great.
Has anything changed since we last spoke?
You know what? Yes, I'm thinking more long-term.
Great. We'll make that change to your plan and adjust as needed.
This helps a lot.
Bye, Mel.
Bye. Make sense of your money with Citizens.
Stay ahead of your moderate to severe eczema.
and show off clearer skin and less itch with Dupixent, the #1 prescribed biologic by dermatologists and allergists that helps heal your skin from within. Serious allergic reactions can occur that can be severe. Tell your doctor about new or worsening eye problems such as eye pain or vision changes, including blurred vision, joint aches and pain, or a parasitic infection. Don't change or stop asthma medicines without talking to your doctor. Ask your eczema specialist about Dupixent.
Come here, Charlie. This is, by the way, guys, this is Charlie's last day as a 9-year-old.
Oh, that's big.
Hey,
That's big.
It's
Right
big. But he won't come on, Charlie, for a second. Just so we can show everybody what a 9-year-old looks like, and tomorrow you'll come in at 10.
Could be totally different.
Yeah,
Hey, listen,
and he's watching bad football, too. There we go.
No, it's not right.
You're in double digits now, man.
Not yet. Tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Does it seem like 10 years has gone by, guys?
No.
Unreal.
Give me a break. And it's not even your first one.
I know. She turns 12 on January 5th.
See, that's crazy to me that was 12 years ago.
I know. But were you going to live through all this with Guadalupe? Somebody came up to me at an event, Peter, and said, I love the name. Somebody actually asked me, is Peter's wife of Latin descent? I said, no,
Wow.
she's not. And they said, why are they naming the baby Guadalupe? I said, no, I'm naming the baby Guadalupe.
That came straight from Unky Mike.
You can walk.
Trouble you cause.
I know.
This is why. Listen, game misconduct. It's gained some traction. It'll never be what it could have been because you threw ice chips and people were searching ice chips, couldn't find it, and go, all right, well, you had my one shot that I was going to give it a listen. Can't find it. I'm done.
But I haven't called it ice chips in a while.
I know, but the fact that you did, Michael, you don't know what you derail for what you perceive to be good radio.
Wow. I'm sorry if I've caused you any upset.
So much upset.
I don't know if that's a sentence.
Yeah, no, it's a sentence. Hey, it's game time, brought to you by Tullamore Dew Irish Whiskey. Only one local in action tonight. It's the Nets. They're down in New Orleans taking on the Pelicans. That's at 8. Also, of course, on the Great Yes Network. That's game time. Brought to you by Tullamore Dew Irish Whiskey. Because when it's game time, it's Tully time. Tullamore Dew, the original triple distilled, triple blended, and triple cask matured Irish whiskey. Be sure to grab a Tullamore Dew. Try the brand new Tullamore Dew Honey during tonight's action. Glasses up to enjoying Tullamore Dew responsibly. Let's talk some Giants. It don't get much worse than that.
No.
I mean, why would we import that to Germany? I mean, why does Germany have to see that trash?
Well, because they had to have something in front of all of the what I believe are paid actors at the game.
Let's talk about that because it was a curious thing that you said on our group chat.
All right, was curious, but
I supported it fully. I just want to hear you.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, they had these really weak homemade signs.
They're seat fillers. Not actors, but they're seat fillers. I'm sure there are a lot of people excited to see football in Germany. All right, I'm sure the NFL made tons of money. But these people that are on camera, Michael, they're being paid something to do it. They're all wearing different NFL stuff. I'm seeing Bears. I'm seeing Saints. I'm seeing Cowboys. At one point, when the fumble occurred to end the game, they're showing a guy in, a brand new Giants jersey and hat. I'm surprised they didn't still have the tags on it, like cheering, as if he didn't realize what had just happened on the field. Did you not see this? I saw it throughout the entire game. Like every time they showed somebody in the stands, it looked like somebody who awkwardly didn't know what the heck was going on. It's like they just dragged a bunch of people off the streets. Here, put this NFL gear on, sit here for 2 hours, and we'll give you a $50 gift certificate to Starbucks. That's what it felt like.
Now, but
the entire game.
In slight defense, though, Don, I remember when baseball first came to Toronto. People had no idea what they were cheering for. None. I mean, the foul ball would come, they'd have their hands separated, get smashed in the forehead. They just didn't know what baseball was. Now they're really great fans, but maybe they just don't know what football is. They don't know what's good or bad.
But the people of Toronto wanted to show support for their team.
Right.
Well, so they didn't know baseball, and I've heard those same stories. A sacrifice bunt, they'd boo because they didn't realize the benefit of moving the runner into scoring position.
And most analytics people don't.
But I get that. But they're like, hey, there's a team in Toronto. I'm from Toronto. I'm going to support this team. This is one and done. All right. These are two teams, one from Carolina, one from New York. They're going to play a game. They're going to get on the plane. They're going to go away. And next year, you might be lucky enough to get a game maybe in Berlin with two different teams. All right. So nobody's telling you got to go to show support. And I'm sure 99.9% of the people there wanted to know football, enjoy it. But the ones on camera, Michael, all look like props. The one guy, it was just ridiculous. Tracy fumbles the football. They show the stands. There's a guy with a crisp, clean, just bought white Daniel Jones jersey, mugging the camera, going, yeah! He had no idea where he was. None.
No idea.
And it wasn't because he was intoxicated. He had no idea. He was literally dragged off the field like an old school into a van, brought to the stadium.
And they said, you're going to cheer for the Giants.
They stuck a $50 Starbucks coupon in his pocket and said, here, put this jersey on, put this hat on, and go just sit there. And if there's a camera, just cheer
jump
like
up
you've
and
never
down.
seen anything this great before in your life.
Well, they should only know what they saw.
It was, let me tell you this, it was a broadcast befitting of a great Rich Eisen call. That's what it was. The whole thing.
Well, you know what? I'm sick and tired of you taking shots at my friend.
Sorry, love Rich. No.
You had some kind of Celine Dion quote, too? I mean, what are you doing?
I thought it was really brilliant when
he tweeted that out.
Yeah, he tweeted that out.
Content, Michael.
I said, listen, no one else holds back. Why do I have to be like?
Because it's a friend of mine.
Everyone's a friend of yours.
No, there's people I hate.
Talent. And he is the face of the NFL Network. He's brilliant what he's done for charity with the 40-yard dash.
Love it.
He is incredible interviewer.
One of the great interviewers I've ever seen.
Sports talk radio show.
Hell of a sports talk show.
He is a fabulous television talent. Can't do play-by-play.
That's it.
So he can do 99 things out of 100, and I'm supposed to feel bad that I'm pointing out the one thing he can't do?
I mean, that is what we all do as big boys who do all kinds of different things. I get trashed in certain things that I do. I get it. But I just do not feel it. And then at the end of the game, he kept trying to do the same things in German. It was like, my guy, let's just wrap this horrible nightmare of a game up and go home.
Yeah, we all had to watch it. Stop it.
We all had to suffer through it. But, like, now I don't need to know what overtime is. And at one point, it's so awkward. He's like, Kurt, you want to try? Kurt's like, nah, I'm good. You say it in German, Rich. It was... The whole, I'm giving Rich a hard time. The game was an abomination.
I can't believe they lost
This is
that game.
what they want to spread around Europe. Carolina and by the way, I'm done. They're from now on, guys. Remember, smells like Sunday morning.
Yeah,
because Thursday's done.
You know what?
Wait, hold on, guys. When I see a bad game, I go, is it? It smells like 9:30 on a Sunday.
Because these last two Thursdays, you get Ravens, Bengals, followed by Commanders and Eagles. You know what?
Can't complain.
Yeah, smells like 9:30. That's the new one.
The new line for a bad game is 9:30 Sunday.
But Michael, how did they lose that? And I know it's good for the franchise. I don't want to get into the whole tanking conversation, but that's what tanking looks like. Do you really? This is an embarrassment. How, after a loss like that, and what this rest of this season could end up being, because right now you just lost to the worst team in football, so I guess everything's on the table. They will not be a favorite the rest of the year. They can't win at home. They can't win in their division, right? They're on their way to a 3 or 4 win season. How can you bring everybody back? How do you run it back?
Well,
These things don't happen in a vacuum. You can't be that bad. You brought up earlier in the show that we got it wrong and the pundits got it right, that they're the worst team in football. And what did I say? I said, you can't be the worst team in football unless your coach contributes to it. So you can't go 4-13, Michael, and it not be on Dable in some way. You can blame the quarterback all you want. They can't get off the field on third down defensively. Their special teams are awful. How many more kickers have to miss field goals? Gano's supposed to be the guy. He misses a field goal.
Their brother's a tool.
Exactly.
So how can you sit there and look at this and say, we'll tank, it will be awful, and then we'll just bring Dable back? Now, if you're going to tell me that Dable's part of the tank and they're trying to lose games, well,
no, they're not. They're not trying.
But he's not doing that. He's game planning, trying to win, and they're losing every week. Yeah, they stay competitive. They almost win. It always comes down to a play. But, Michael, it's about wins and losses, how we evaluate the job that everybody does. And I wish it was just a quarterback problem. Get another quarterback. But there's a lot. There's no depth. There's no secondary. There's no special teams. I think he's a good coach. I do. But can you just continue to run it back When you're taking steps backwards. 9 wins, 6 wins, down to 4 or 5 or 3, and you just continue to bring the coach back?
Well, I mean, Mara might have put himself in a bad situation. He said, I'm not getting rid of anybody during the season, and probably not during the offseason. So, I mean, they have not made any strides. And, you mentioned this when we had Scott on, that it seems like he's not committing to Daniel Jones after the bye. So that's going to be interesting. I don't think you're going to see Daniel Jones because it's too much of a risk. If he gets hurt, it's guaranteed $23 million next year. And he has not earned the right to be back. And, Dable also, I think Dable is coaching kind of with the proverbial hands tied behind his back. So after the game, he apologized for 3rd and 1, where a flea flicker.
Oh, yeah.
And
not what you want. The sack on the flea flicker is not what you want.
But if you look at, there were 2 guys wide open downfield. Now, the fact that he couldn't block for the guy and he couldn't see them open, is that really Dable's fault? Now, the only positive thing out of the game yesterday for the Giants is they put Evan Neal at right tackle. He played well. But they had to move Illuminor over to the left tackle, and he was terrible.
Awful.
He said that's like signing your name right-handed your whole life, and then you have 3 days to learn how to sign your name left-handed. He said it's just not the same thing. So he didn't do a good job, and that's what blew that play up. But Dable has to apologize for a really well-conceived play that had 2 guys open way downfield. I mean, he's an offensive genius without a guy who could throw the ball.
Let's hear from Dable. Will you evaluate keeping Jones a quarterback?
We'll go back and we'll evaluate everything and decide what we want to do here. But we got a week to go ahead and really dig into this. We'll evaluate the tape and we'll make the decision that we think is best for our team.
And would benching Jones need ownership approval?
Joe and I communicate with our ownership group on a daily basis, not just about the quarterback, but about every position. So there's good communication there. We'll do what we normally do. If there are any changes, regardless of the position, we'll always communicate. Even when we make lineup changes or there's things that come up, we're always in constant communication. Myself, Joe, and ownership think that's very important and healthy for the organization.
He's done. He's not going to play again unless somebody gets hurt. As you said, the motivation of not wanting to get him hurt and get tagged with $23 million. And they've already said earlier that they weren't going to make a change. Now they got to buy. They're going to look at the tape. What's the tape going to tell them, Michael? Oh, actually, he's a good quarterback?
No, it's going to tell them exactly what they know.
So now it's just down to whether it's Locke or DeVito. And maybe it'll end up being both in these final 7 games, and it'll depend on how it goes. It'll probably be DeVito because you create a little bit of a buzz, I guess, when they play, especially at home when it's DeVito, because that's really all it is right
Tommy
now.
Cutlets, baby.
I mean, but it's
Anthony and his whole family gather around. They make a whole ragu,
it's
gravy, whatever you say.
It has to be over. But let's not forget, we could talk about Gettleman's draft of Jones, but Shane brought him back. And they must have thought, Michael, that they could work with him. Let's get him some talent. Let's get a year under our belt with this guy, because he made the playoffs. Let's give it a chance. So, yeah, they were wrong. So either of 2 things, Michael. They got it wrong that they could fix him, or they just can't fix him. What is it like? They continue showing him, screaming at Jones. Like, when are you going to realize none of this works? Like, you've been working with him. He's just not getting it. He's not seeing it. He does not have the ability. You screwed up by bringing him back, obviously. And also, if you keep screaming at him, you know what? It's not his fault. It's like your analogy. Fat kid climbing the rope. Is the gym teacher going to continue to yell at the fat kid, or stop asking him to climb the rope? Don't design a play you know he can't execute.
It's when you say they can't fix him, I don't think it's a fixed problem. He's just not that good. He's never been that great. If we don't know after 6 years, we know. And I'm going to say something that's going to probably anger some people and maybe shock you too. He's not that much different than Rodgers. 2024 Rodgers,
No.
is he better than Daniel Jones?
They're about
No, but the only thing I will
Same
say
table,
is,
Michael.
The only thing I'll say is that Daniel Jones can do damage with his legs. So if there's a moment, there's some athleticism that Daniel Jones brings to the table that Rodgers can't anymore. But as far as who's a better quarterback, I mean, they both just can't seem to play at the level necessary to win games. Now, Daniel Jones has shown flashes, Michael, but you can't tell me that the only reason they brought him back was because they didn't have any alternative. They must have saw something and said, I think we can make this work. Well, they got it wrong. or he just doesn't understand what's being explained to him. Whatever way it is, Michael, at some point you stop banging your head against the wall and realize, I don't have a quarterback. But there's other issues here, too. Is it just the quarterback? Certainly the quarterback is a major, major problem. But unlike Rodgers being connected to the defense where he sucks the air out of the room and maybe the defense just doesn't want to play for Rodgers and the coaching change and everything, do you think Daniel Jones affects how the defense plays for the Giants? Make a play, man. Get off the field on third down. You're getting shredded by one of the worst teams in football. Come on, man. Like, you got to play better than that defensively. I know you don't have any secondary. I know you're going through some injuries, but God, the whole team stinks.
Don, do you know, since the famous or infamous boat trip, what their record is?
Well, they went 11-5 that year. Just a rough estimate. That was 16, so 17, 18. Yeah, it's do the math. I don't know. It's probably like 30-65 or something like that.
69. I'm sorry. 39, 85, and 1.
This is.
I mean, remember we looked at the 70s as like the worst years?
No, this is bad.
This is what I mean. I'd rather have Norm Snead.
This is bad. I mean, they did go to the playoffs a couple of years ago and won a playoff game, and that's what everybody kind of reverts back to when talking about and wanting to support Dable getting another opportunity because of that. But we were here every single day during that season, Peter and I especially, talking about how are they doing this? How is this working out? And it was only a 9-win season, so it wasn't like they went out there and won 12 games, and they did win a playoff game. But they could have very easily finished 7-9-1 that year. Now you follow it up with a 6-win season. Now you might follow that up with a 4 or 5-win season. Michael, at what point do you start to say, I know we've changed coaches a bunch of times, but is there a coaching issue here? Because if you're going to draft a quarterback, Michael, you've said it many times, that's extending Dable another 2, 3, maybe 4 years. So could you be looking at a 7-8 year run of them not doing anything? I mean, can you take that chance? Or do you say maybe we might actually get the first pick in the draft, which right now has to be on the table, and just start anew? And the attractiveness to bring over the new general manager and head coach is, hey, you guys get to work with the first overall pick in the draft? Now, we got a long way before we get there, Michael, but you can understand it's on the table. They might end up with the number 1 pick.
We talked about Sauce Gardner in the first hour and that missed tackle that he had. He's so sensitive, this kid. So 32 seconds ago on Twitter, he posted, I'm very accountable, and my teammates know I owe it to them. Not you or anybody else on this app. I missed 1 tackle and gave up like 19 yards. Do I want each of those plays back? Of course. But how about you come play corner in the NFL for a week? Let me know how it goes. Really, Sauce?
See,
we can't play corner, dude.
But see what ends up happening when you are trying to play for a player instead of playing for a team. It's every man for themselves now. So everybody's looking out for number 1. Aaron Rodgers is looking out for number 1. So now Sauce Gardner's going to do that. And then everybody else is going to follow suit. Because who are you playing for, Michael? You're playing for an interim coach. You're playing for a quarterback that only cares about his own stats, his own Hall of Fame, his own try to get my second Super Bowl. An owner that looks like he's got 1 foot out the door. So I'm not going to defend Sauce for being this way, but at the same time, this is what happens. Now you circle the wagons for so long, and then eventually all you do is care about yourself.
But why is he answering people critiquing him on Twitter?
Why do any of them do it?
Why do we do it? Everybody does it.
I don't do it anymore. I haven't done it for 2 years.
Well, with all due respect, you're 40 years older than Sauce Gardner.
This is the world they live in, Michael. This is how they communicate.
But the people that are critiquing, like if it's somebody in the NFL who critiques them, then get angry. I mean, I want one of you guys to come play corner. Really, Sauce? What a dumb thing to say. None of us could play in the NFL. That's why we don't.
Yeah, but it's just bad.
Let's go to Tessa in West Caldwell. She's got something to say.
I'm sure.
Hey guys, thanks so much for taking my call. So before I make my Giants point and get ready to bash my head against the wall, I just want to ask you guys a question first. I'm always very honest when I say my team is trash, when I say this and I say that. I'm very honest about our garbage play. So I was very confused last week when I made my comment, and then Peter waited till I hung up the phone to say, oh, I was going to say this and say that. So what I want to tell you is this, Peter, you can't get mad at me because I was speaking facts when your team was trash. And I also want to say, run the tapes. Run them back. It's okay. Because I've been honest about my team forever. So you can run the tape.
No,
That's not making you a bad guy or a bad fan, like you called me.
I didn't call you a bad fan.
Oh, my God, Peter, when we got into that argument on the radio, everybody in all New Jersey was like, yo, Peter was so mad. He was like, you're a bad fan, Tessa.
Oh, maybe I did say that. No. That I all I know is you, like many others, downplayed the loss to Philly. And I listen, I was proven to be right, Tessa. You were wrong. Your team was hot ass back then, and I knew. And now it's proven out over 2 years. And I did think back then that you guys kind of all downplayed that Eagles loss. Like, we won against Minnesota. And it really, the loss to the Eagles game was so much more telling than the victory over Minnesota.
Right, but when you talk about a franchise that we've been losing for so long, and then here you are at that time, your team was definitely still trash. You just trying to find something. None of us was trying to hear that at that time. We were just so happy what we had and what we did. So that's all we were saying. But, Peter, I told you I was really honest with you. I was very happy for you. I am very happy for you. I thought I got a lot of family from Virginia that love the Commanders. So to see that for y'all, you just really needed that one piece. I was trying to give you props. You know what I mean? But one thing about me, all y'all notice, I will keep it real with my team. We're beyond funky right now. We're beyond ass. We're everything that, like, I feel like my soul got sucked out of me yesterday with this loss. You understand what I'm saying? But I just was in my mind, like, why is Peter mad? I was being real. Y'all was trash. Anytime I was saying y'all was hot trash, you was, Peter. Plain and simple. This year, y'all doing y'all thing. Y'all definitely doing y'all thing, and y'all definitely something. But don't worry, we're going to catch up. We're going to catch up. But I just wanted to ask this question. So we already know Daniel Jones is not the answer. And just like Don said, like, just stop force issue. I'm going to be real with you. When Dable first got here, he knew Daniel Jones wasn't the answer. You could tell, like, the way he used to talk about him, the way he used to yell on the sideline, all that stuff like that. I feel like I'm not with everybody else saying Dable got to get fired. I think Dable deserves a chance with a new QB. The way how he molded Josh Allen, the way how he trained Josh Allen up, I want to give Dable a shot. I do feel like he is a good coach, but I feel like he's limited. It's like Don, he's like finding ways, like little ladders to help the kid get up the rope, like the fat kid get up the rope. But there's so much he can do with Daniel. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like if he actually got somebody, and I don't want anybody in this upcoming draft. I'm serious. I don't know what we're going to do. We might have to be trash again for another year. I don't know. But I just feel like he deserved a chance. Now, Shane, no. If we could get rid of him, I'll be okay because his time and time again, he's failing. Now it's looking like Deontay Banks is a freaking bust. Right. Evan Neal, okay, you did decent yesterday, but that's just yesterday. You did decent. Let's get you against somebody for real. Let's see what you do against Dallas on Thanksgiving, which, by the way, guys, I have to let you know I'm not eating at all because I don't want to feel like throwing up. I hate that we playing Thanksgiving. They're going to ruin my whole freaking day. But anyway, so I'm just saying, like, Sheen, I want him gone. Dable, I want him to stay. I do want Daniel Jones benched. Go ahead, get Cutlets in there. Like, at the end of the day, what do we have to lose? That's why I was so pissed that we let go Tyrod Taylor because I knew we were going to come to this. I don't want to tank. I want to try to win. Because I don't want a quarterback in this draft. I don't want Shedeur Sanders. You get what I'm saying? So I want to win. I'm competitive. I like to win. So I don't care if we don't have nothing to
because you can't do this in a vacuum, Tessa. You can't lose out and then say we got a coach. I'm sorry. He's trying to get these guys to win, and if they don't respond, because I'm with you. I think he's a good coach, guys. I was up thinking about this all night, trying to articulate how I wanted to put this. Like, I don't want him to be fired. I think he's a good coach, but if you're grading things on wins and losses, Tessa, if they end up turning around going 4-13, I just don't know how in good conscience you could say we've got our coach.
Though, Don, he can't get away with. Okay, put it this way: if let's say the way how the Jets defense and everybody's playing with all of those weapons, that coach, I don't think it should have been Robert Saleh getting fired. He deserved to get fired. You got to admit the defense never gives up. They fight hard. Now our rookies on offense, I have a problem with them the way Malik plays. I have a problem because he look a little bit cocky. But I feel like the team is still fighting, and to me, that's leadership from the players and the coaches. That's why I would just want to give them one more shot. They didn't give up like how they gave up on Schumer. They didn't give up like how they gave on McAdoo. They're fighting for him, I feel like. Overall they're fighting. One thing I can say about my team, we might be hot ass, but we don't give up. We fight to the end, and it don't look like look at them giving up. The Jets, though, they was giving up. You know what I'm saying? We're not doing that.
It did feel like there was like no hope. But still, you lost to Michael. They lost to the worst team in football. Yeah. I mean, come on. And then they were better in the second. I don't want to change coaches again either, Michael. But how do you run it back? And when she said, "Well, let Shane go," well, then you might as well let Dable go because a new general manager is going to bring in his own guy. I think they came in attached. I think they leave attached. Don't you?
I would think so. It doesn't make sense to stagger them. It doesn't make sense because then the GM that you bring in is going to want a new coach. And if you bring in a GM, you got to let him hire a coach. You just have to. It's been proven over and over and over again. So I think that's what will happen, or they'll probably both get a chance to stay. And if they do stay and they get a high draft pick, they get to draft a quarterback. That gives them a couple of years. Because what are you doing to the quarterback if you're going to keep changing the coach in the first 2 or 3 years? We've seen that. That hurt Daniel Jones, too. ENN's coming up in just a moment, so stay right here on Yes and 880 ESPN.
It's big, it's back, and it's only $6. Get the big box y'all love today. And this holiday season, you can order a Cajun-style turkey at your local Popeyes.
Love that chicken from Popeyes.
If you're an asbestos victim, pay close attention. Billions of dollars are being paid out to people like you. We should know. We're Whites and Luxembourg, the law firm that already won over $9 billion for men and women just like you. That's right, over $9 billion for mesothelioma sufferers and their families. We know you're short of money, and we know you're short of time, so we fight hard. Call Whites in Luxembourg at 917-LAWYERS. That's 917-LAWYERS. Whites in Luxembourg, winning big for the little guy.
We're unboxing unbeatable values for your home every Friday in November. And that means I've got stylish sofas in multiple colors with Bobapedic seating for just $3.99 each. Because every day is like Black Friday when you dare to compare at Bob's.
Let's talk about hunger during the holidays. Regular people like you and me can make a difference right now.
Every day at the Community Food Bank of New Jersey, we work to fill the emptiness caused by hunger with food, help, and hope. An emptiness felt even more during the holidays.
We can make the holidays better for our neighbors in need.
Join us. Go to cfbnj.org today.
Your attention, please, ladies and gentlemen. You're watching Yes.
A team grows in Brooklyn. Block by block. Play by play. Shot by shot.
We got Nets.
You coming?
This land we love belongs to all of us. Yet not everyone is treated equally. Right now, millions of Americans are fighting for the things promised to all by the Constitution. Learn how the ACLU is defending the right to vote, free speech, and other civil liberties at myaclu.org.
This winter, when you find yourself looking at this, don't do this, or this. When it comes to snow, go with Snow Joe, the #1 brand of cordless snowblowers with ultra-powerful Ion Plus lithium-ion technology. Snow Joe's cordless snow shovels and blowers are the lightweight, cordless way to clear walkways, driveways, decks, steps, sidewalks, and yards.
So I've been using the Snow Joe products for several years now. I'm very happy and excited with the way that they work. I also have a battery-powered snowblower, which works amazing.
This handy grab-and-go snow shovel weighs less than 14 pounds. It clears up to 300 pounds of snow per minute, throws up to 20 feet away with up to 70 minutes of runtime per charge. Got a bigger clearing job to handle? Forget about gas. Cut the cord and go with Joe. This 48-volt Snow Joe cordless blower clears over 10 tons of snow in 30 minutes on a single charge, about the weight of 5 pickup trucks. You only get that kind of power with Snow Joe's exclusive 24-volt Ion Plus battery technology with EcoSharp power management, driving a heavy-duty rubber-tipped steel blade auger that shreds snow without scratching the pavement and with 0 emissions. Best of all, it starts like this. Listen to how quiet it is.
After years of shoveling snow with a traditional manual shovel, my search led me to Snow Joe's cordless battery-operated snowblowers. Ended up being one of the absolute best purchases that I have ever made. Both me and my lower back, thank you.
Call now to order your Snow Joe today with prices starting at just $199.99. Or go online to snowjoeontv.com and pay as low as $19 a month. Order now and get 2 free gifts, a premium 3-year warranty, plus free shipping. A total savings of over $100.
Call 1-800-238-3495 or go online to snowjoeontv.com.
I know you're going through a lot. I wonder if you know that we can get help. Let's see how far we can go. Love, your mind.
Chris Sheeran back here for the Michael K. Show. Cam Thomas comes into tonight's matchup in New Orleans, scoring just over 25 points per game. Cam Johnson is shooting over 52% from 3 over his last 3 games, 10 for his last 19. Brooklyn has made 143s as a team. That currently ranks them 8th in the NBA. Each team enters with a losing streak. The Nets come in with 2 losses in a row to Boston and Cleveland, while the Pelicans have dropped 4 straight and also just lost Zion Williamson. The team announced on Saturday he will be out indefinitely with a left hamstring strain. Our coverage for tonight's Tilt in the Big Easy begins with the pregame show at 7:30, followed by opening tip a little after 8. It's the Nets and the Pelicans. Coverage starting tonight at 7:30 with the pregame show right here on Yes, and streaming, of course, on the Yes app.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to ENN. Ray Rowe.
On Tiwi.
It's brought to you by our friends at Security Dodge. I'd like to start off by saying good evening to Michael.
Thierry Henry.
Oh, that is... Wait, when did that happen?
That's when I said the ball people. So that is Henry?
Oh,
Thierry Henry.
Thierry Henry? You called him Thierry Henry?
That's right. Thierry Henry.
See, because the thing is, Don, here's the thing. Hear me out. Just me and you talking.
Okay.
Nobody else with us. No one listening. Just humor me.
Okay.
We do a sports program.
Mm-hmm.
If we randomly bring up a movie from the 1970s that I've never heard of the actor in, Michael will immediately go, well, make some sort of comp to, well, you weren't alive for Abraham Lincoln, but you know who he is. When Thierry Henry's name is there, and he says his name's Thierry Henry.
Thierry Henry.
No, we're just supposed to move forward?
You know what? I agree with you. And if you're that offended, you should leave the show.
Well, I don't think he's going to.
Hold on.
You said you were supposed to move on. No, don't move on. Leave the show then. If you can't work with a hack like me, go.
Well, that's not fair either to me. How do I get punished?
How does he spell
Henry.
With a Y?
Yeah.
So I can understand.
But it's the first name. But he's one of the most famous soccer players of the last 20 years.
But Michael clearly is not a soccer guy. He's made that known.
Thierry Henry.
His only opinion on soccer is why does the clock not stop?
Fair enough.
Anthony, I'm going to tell you right now. I don't blame Peter. Don didn't even know what happened. You, right now, what time is it? It is
4:35 on the dot.
4:35. You're dead to me. Thierry Henry.
Yeah, I understand.
You are dead because they didn't even hear it when it was said. You are dead to me.
I didn't even know because I didn't know.
I didn't know who he was talking about.
I know.
If I knew who he was talking about, I would have said
something. If I was
something.
looking at the list, I would have said something, but I wasn't, so I just didn't.
No, I don't think he would have said Henry Richard or Henry Richard.
No, Henry Richard.
Because Henry with an I. But if he spells it with a Y, I can't understand the first name. But
Let's keep going. Let's say good evening.
Can we? I don't know if we can.
Thierry Henry.
Let's say good evening to Don.
Dead.
Now I got to put my head in Tomlin's space.
That's interesting. Let me say good evening to Don.
Who am I to decide what guy is sexy?
Great question. And good evening to myself. How you like them apples, buddy? And also to Don LaGreca of yesteryear.
PDs, Schmeedies.
Well, guys, I don't know if you saw what happened with the Jets yesterday, but they didn't play very well. And Jeff Ulbrich, or who, as I call him, and me and his good friends call him, Brick, he just says the Jets simply weren't prepared.
Overall, after a long layoff there, they were not prepared to play, didn't execute even close to our standard, and that falls on my shoulders 100%. I didn't do a good enough job getting these guys ready. I thought the physicality and the effort was fine. That was not the issue. It was execution, and then that was all three phases. Until we get that right, this thing will not turn.
He's going to be, you know what I'm looking forward to, guys? And I say this respectfully. Jeff Ulbricht's name in trivia, it's going to be tremendous one day. One day, that trivia piece. When the Jets fired head coach Robert Saleh, who is the interim coach for the rest of the 2024
Many's
season?
first guess will be Thierry Henry. They'll be wrong. Thierry Henry.
Good, well done, well done. Aaron Rodgers, not an easy loss to take.
Disappointing. Yeah, it's disappointing. Had some chances early on to make it stay close, and just disappointing.
Oh.
He says they simply need to score more. They came out flat.
It's been, a lot of emotions this year for sure. I thought, after a big win Thursday night, nice long week, we were going to come out with a lot of energy and win the game, and we just, we didn't come out with great energy on either side of the ball. You're not going to beat anybody scoring 6 points.
How? Don knows that this bothers me over 20. How? You play once a week, sometimes, Thursday or whatever, and you don't come out with energy? Why? How? Under what circumstances would you not have energy? We do 5 shows a week, 3.5 hours a day, and we darn well better have energy when we go on the air. Even if we feel lousy, if something's going wrong with our family, we have to have energy. Because you know what? That's what we're paid for.
That's right.
That's what we're paid for. How do you not have energy?
Because I just think it's a lame excuse.
Oh, so it's I guess it's better than saying we stink, right?
Right, exactly. But why not just say we stunk today? Just nothing worked for us. We're going to come back. We're going to try to correct the problem. When you say it's a lack of energy, really? For some reason, the AFC has gifted you this opportunity that a 3-6 football team still has a path, Michael. That's all we heard all week. They've got a path. All these things that can still happen for this team. Most of their losses have come in the other conference. They've got this tiebreaker, that they can still do this, Michael. And then you come out flat? This was supposed to be one of the games that they could win. I don't know if there's a game they can win the way that they played. But you can't say that because then that's admitting that you're not good enough. So, we just lacked energy. Why? You had extra days rest. You're still alive, even though there's no reason you should be. It's all the reason to have energy, Michael.
It's disgraceful. It really is.
So it's not a lack of energy. It's a lack of coaching, a lack of ability. Yeah, you could put a bunch of talented people together. There's a lot of bands that have talented people. Still sound like garbage, right? There's a lot of things that have to come together, and it's not coming together. They got a lot of talented guys, but they just can't get it together.
You know what sums up this season in a nutshell?
Tell me.
Isn't that really the theme song for the season? Just a straw in the wind.
But it's...
Don, what did you think of the Houston uniform yesterday?
Good. I'm good with those. What do they call them? Because the Panthers had the same thing.
The Crush? Red Crush?
Or just like with the black helmets with the logo in the color of the team, but it's not the actual logo. I don't know what's going on.
Listen, Michael and I got screwed because Michael picked with me. And we got screwed on the Detroit game yesterday. But I do it again. That's a good football team.
I wouldn't do it again. They didn't cover, that's why.
I would have done all my picks again.
Yeah, well, you were perfect again.
Perfect again? No, Don's having a year. What happened?
Something's coming together. Maybe the kids are getting older.
Is that what it is?
Much. I don't know.
I think it's the kickboxing. The kids don't need them anymore. It's
I got to tell you, the kickboxing, it's all coming together. I got to get Kimball to get to the other place. Got to make it work.
Yeah, you need that. You know who else would be a good trainer potentially for you?
Thierry Henry.
Garrett Wilson's blunt. He says this team is simply
what?
playing like trash.
I don't think we went into this with the wrong mentality. I don't think we went about, our meetings, our practice this week in the wrong way. I just think that, at the end of the day, it's all about Sundays. I say that all the time. But when you go out and play bad, you got to, maybe fake it a little bit to make it seem real. But the energy's not there because we're playing like trash. So that's how I see it.
There are certain teams in this league you just can't get blown out by. I don't care the year they're having. You can't get blown out by Arizona. You just can't. It's impossible to get up from. And now, also,
this is why I want to give Garrett Wilson a hug, because we just figured it all out by what he said. The lack of energy. It's because they didn't have it. They didn't fight through it. Like, some days it's just not going to work, right, Michael? No matter what happens, it's just not your day. Now, are you going to fight through it, try to make it work, or are you just going to take a knee? They decided to take the knee. That's the lack of energy. There's a lot of times you come to work, just not happening, you just don't feel it, just not working out for you, but you continue to persevere, you continue to fight through it. And sometimes those end up being your best days because you're more focused and you decide, I'm going to have to give a little extra today because I don't have it. They didn't have it and said, all right, we're good. We'll try again next week.
We always have punt. And they went for the punt.
That's a scary thing. They didn't punt that much until the second half. They're settling for field goals. Bad in the red zone, man.
Bad in the red zone, man.
They were getting yards, chunks of yards.
Well,
I thought this was going to be a shootout. Didn't you think that?
The backbreaker was it 21-6? Drive after halftime? Something like that, or 24-6.
Oh, yeah.
They marched right down the field, and you think they're about to maybe make it 24-14 and play a football game. And then they couldn't.
And in that drive, if I can sound my same tired refrain.
I know what you're going to say.
Tell me. Let's see if we think alike.
Helped out by pass interference.
Nope. I don't even remember. It was a tight end. It was a Jet tight end. They're down 24-6. They get a first down, and he does a pose for first down.
Oh, boy.
When you're down by that much, don't do that. You look like a stooge. What are you doing? Look at me. I'm on a losing team. What are you doing?
All right, well, they were doing it on the defensive side, too, Michael. They finally, Murray with complete 20 straight, finally get an incompletion, and everybody's celebrating the incompletion, only to be able to give up, another 20 yards on the next play. No, it was so bad. No, I thought you were going to say that drive was helped out by a pass interference. So even when they actually were putting together a really good drive, they were helped out with that. But they get in the red zone and they can't score. Can't do anything. Then they had to go for it on fourth down, which I think was the right thing to do. And then they don't convert. They get 0 points out of it. Game, set, match.
Not good.
No, it's not what you want.
I wonder how Ambassador Johnson feels. He had it was kind of like a toss-up week, Yeah, Tuesday was big for him. Sunday was terrible for him. But what was bigger?
Clown show. That should be the real anthem for this team this season. It is not what
Which one?
You want.
Could be for both.
Let's hear from Brian Dable.
By the way, Can we stop? National broadcasters continue to call him Dayball. He was on the show and said, like table.
Yeah, come on, pay attention. Let's do some work.
Come on. People aren't doing the work. What gives you the confidence, Coach, that this team can turn things around?
Yeah, I believe we got the right people. Again, results aren't out there yet. We just lost a tough game. We've got to tighten up a little bit of things. Some situational football. The turnovers got us today. But we'll go back, we'll go to work, and we'll make improvements that we need to make.
Hey, Don and Peter, you ready for this? Remember when I told you the Giant record since the boat trip, 39-85-1?
Right.
Do you know what the Jet record is over that time?
Is it just
worse?
One, probably the same, but without a
yes. They're 39-86. The two teams are 78-1, 71-1.
Oh my God! And who was it that hit the playoff? Just the fact that you did it immediately, the comedic timing was brilliant. Because we got the right people in place. What are you going to say? Because you're one of the people.
He stinks.
As for Daniel Jones on his performance.
Yeah, not good enough. Anytime you turn the ball over twice in the red zone, not good enough.
I'm just so sick of this song.
I do feel bad for him. I think he's a good kid.
He is.
And he works really hard. Like, that's not a guy that's for a lack of trying. He just doesn't have it.
No, listen, I got news for you, buddy. I mean, there are other jobs he could do. He won't. And guess what? Here's the beautiful part about football.
Tell us.
He'll never have to do one. He can literally, for the rest of his life. But before you think, I feel bad because he seems nice. And even though he can't play an iota of NFL quarterback, I feel sad for him. Before you think anything about that, Tom, before you feel bad for him,
okay,
he can spend the rest of his life living in a giant house, having fancy meals with the women of his choice. Every day can be a party for the rest of his life. He is that rich to be, let's be honest, the absolute World Book Encyclopedia definition of mediocre. That's not bad.
Yeah, but
Come on.
I still feel bad for him.
Why?
Because let me relate it back to you. You're very talented at what you do.
I
You're an
appreciate
outstanding radio personality.
Thank you.
And you're compensated for it.
Somewhat.
But let's say you for whatever reason, coming out of Maryland, you were given a ton of money. Like generational wealth that you never have to worry about money again. But you flat out failed at radio and never be good at your dream. Do it for a couple of years, embarrassed out of radio.
Not quite embarrassed out of it. Nothing left to do.
But I'm saying, like, he's going to get cut. He's going to be a backup, and he's going to go quietly into that good night, never really accomplish what he set out to accomplish. You would still feel bad. That, yeah, you got money, and you're never going to have to worry about it, but knowing that you failed at the one thing you wanted to do so badly in your life, that's worth feeling bad for somebody for it. Right, Michael, or no?
Yes, but hold on. He didn't fail. He made it to the NFL and played multiple seasons. Relative to the pool of people who want to play in sports, he is in the 1% of the 1% of the 1%.
Understood.
He made it. He's a huge success.
But I don't think he just wanted to make it. I think he wanted to try to see, especially the 6th overall pick. This is not Mr. Irrelevant who's just happy to be there. He was drafted 6th overall, whether he deserved to be or not. He was going to be taken in the first round, so he thought he was going to have himself a career. And he
did, though. He's had
but not the career that he was hoping.
I get it,
and have it end the way that it ended.
Sure. But he got to have a career and has a lot of money to show for it. I'm just saying.
But everybody just thinks the money is supposed to solve everything.
But it's not just the money. It's the money, and he did it. Like, he really did it. He has been the front-facing piece of the Giants organization for 5 years.
But it hasn't been good. 6 years, and it hasn't been good, though.
But still, no one gets to do that. That's insane. That's insane. And if you could put together 4 sentences, you could have a TV career for the rest of your life. Now, I'm not sure if he could do the sentences part, but what I'm saying is he could work on it. He's he's dealt with the spotlight well, personality-wise. The problem is the football hasn't been there. That'll do it for ENN on this Monday evening. I was going to tell you about the horror show that is The Life of Wander Franco, but we don't need that.
My God. We'll touch on it. We'll touch on it.
That's not the word choice to use for him. And there may be a Soto update. We'll get to that as well. But it's all brought to you by Security Dodge. Shop 24/7 at securitydodge.com during their Black Friday sale.
And remember, because this is a Monday, we have the NFL yesterday coming up in the 5 o'clock hour. Everybody loves that. So, Peter, everybody also needs some help.
Well,
AE drinks Sprite? AE drinks Sprite.
You want to hoop like me? Practice. You want a refreshing drink? Obey your thirst.
It's big, it's back, and it's only $6. Get the big box y'all love today. And this holiday season, you can order a Cajun-style turkey at your local Popeyes.
Love that chicken from Popeyes.
Untuck It makes every guy look better. From tall to short, from big to slim. From our iconic button-downs for all shapes and sizes to a whole lot more. Try us today. Untuck It. We just make guys look better. Oh, and we make great styles for her, too. Shop the sale now at untuckit.com and more than 80 stores worldwide.
Dear unbreakable spirit, when the terrain is gnarly, you steady us. When obstacles are ahead, you lift us. When the turf is hostile, you inspire us. Own a legend. Toyota Trucks.
Get Black Friday savings all month long. Lease Tacoma for just $289 a month or get 1.99% APR for 72 months on a new Tundra. Find yours at Toyota.com. Toyota. Let's go places.
Eyes forward. Don't drive distracted.
From the personal experiences that shaped you to the accomplishments that shaped the world, every moment of a veteran's service is meaningful. At the Library of Congress Veterans History Project, we ensure those moments are never forgotten. For 25 years, the collection has made the experiences of U.S. military veterans accessible to all. Veterans, now is the time to share your story and make our history more complete. To submit your stories, photographs, and documents, visit loc.gov/vets today.
Recently, Congress set an annual limit on Part D out-of-pocket costs to help Medicare beneficiaries better afford their medications. In 2025, that annual limit will be $2,000. Another new benefit, called the Medicare Prescription Payment Plan, helps beneficiaries spread their out-of-pocket costs into monthly installments with no interest or fees. To sign up, you must contact your Part D insurance plan at least 24 hours before you pick up your prescription. This is important because you can't sign up at the pharmacy counter. To learn more, visit www.loweroutofpocketcosts.org.
We all want to feel safe when traveling. That's why if you see something that feels suspicious, such as an abandoned bag or erratic behavior from a passenger, just call 911. You can call anonymously, and it's okay if it turns out to be nothing. Work together with the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey to keep our transportation facilities safe. Visit PANYNJ.gov to learn more.
I started having knee pain in my early 50s. I'm Phil Simms, pro football legend and TV analyst. My knee pain would wake me up during the middle of the night. It hurt me every time I played sports, if it was basketball, tennis, and even golf. I quit being active, and it got to a point where I want to be active, and that's why I'm sitting here today.
Arthritis Knee Pain Centers uses an image-guided procedure that allows them to place an all-natural cushioning gel directly into the affected joint, restoring mobility and relieving your pain without surgery or downtime.
I think what really surprised me is how easy it was and how there was no pain to the treatment.
It's covered by Medicare and most private insurance.
I have no pain. That's gone away, and I got to tell you, I feel great. I'm back to playing a little tennis. Played pickleball, which I said I would never do. Arthritis Knee Pain Centers, they relieved my pain and changed my life.
Call Arthritis Knee Pain Centers now and schedule your no-charge, no-obligation knee pain screening. Call 800-823-3160.
Welcome to the Warehouse, home of Blitzball Battle 5, where the big leagues meet the backyard. Pro athletes and some not pro athletes. Hearts on the line. Games that matter just enough. On to the final! Blitzball Battle 5 premieres November 4th. Watch all year round on Warehouse Games YouTube.
Your toe chains are a little loose. Could spark a wildfire.
Thanks a lot.
Anytime. You should check out SmokeyBear.com. They've got a bunch of tips on wildfire prevention.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Ice Picks. Ice Picks. Ice Picks. Ice Picks.
Ice Picks brought to you by Samuel Institute for Pain Management. I'm red hot with these anytime goal scorers. So Martin Necas and the Carolina Hurricanes are in Vegas to take on the Golden Knights. I'm going to go Necas anytime goal scorer. What was that, plus 185, Anthony?
In certain markets, oh, yeah.
Oh, that's some good money. So Martin Necas, anytime goal scorer for Carolina in Vegas tonight. Going to have to stay up late. Hopefully it'll be worth your while. That's Ice Picks brought to you by Samuel Institute for Pain Management. For a pain-free life, visit samuelpain.com today.
Peter, once Martin Necas is involved, you throw out all the records. You really do.
That's how I feel.
Listen, I've been doing right. Anthony,
listen, I swear
right?
by you, my friend. You know that.
I mean, look at your football picks.
This falls under the heading of what's wrong with people? So, Jack Del Rio, did you see this?
And by the way, I could tell you a lot of things wrong with him. Go ahead.
Senior advisor to Wisconsin head coach Luke Fickell resigned today after he was arrested early Friday for operating a vehicle while intoxicated. He was Del Rio, 61, arrested shortly after midnight Friday after a vehicle he was driving hit a street sign, broke a fence, came to a rest in a yard, according to a Madison police report. 61 years old? I mean, you don't have an Uber app? What are you doing? What's wrong with people?
I don't know if you know this, Jack Del Rio is not a smart man.
I guess he's not.
And by the way, there's also, you know what else he's not?
What?
A good or employed defensive coordinator in the NFL.
And also, you're doing that on a Friday? Isn't there a game on Saturday?
My guess would be, and I don't want to speak out of school here because I don't know Mr. Del Rio at all. Is it possible, given everything that's happened in his NFL career, he's not that dialed into this job?
I don't know.
Probably not.
Now, you mentioned Wander Franco. All right, so he's got enough problems. And now he was arrested Monday.
File this under the same category.
In San Juan de la Maguana, which is 160 miles west of Santo Domingo in the DR. He was in an altercation Sunday in the parking lot of an apartment complex in which guns were drawn. Wander's giving it all away. He's giving it all away. What a dunce. He's accused of having a sexual relationship with a then 14-year-old girl, 23 years old, had a long-term big money contract with the Rays, 11 years, $182 million extension he signed in 2021. That was just 70 games into his major league career. Hasn't played since the accusation, and now he's in a situation where there are drawn guns. Geniuses.
Well,
Geniuses.
Sometimes the answer is bad guy.
Or dumb.
Those aren't mutually exclusive.
Yeah.
Soto, the Soto meeting is going to be soon. And Aaron Boone had a press conference today, a Zoom press conference, where they officially announced that, the option has been picked up. And he said that he was going to be part of it. He said it's not going to be a big thing. There's not going to be that many people, but he will be a part of it. And he also said something that I thought was really cool. He was asked about going into the season, as a lame duck manager, just having that 1 year. He goes, you know what? There's a lot of people in this world that go to work every day and they don't have a guarantee of, and I'm paraphrasing what he said.
You want to hear this?
Yeah, it's a great thought.
Here we go.
Yeah. I mean, here I am. The reality is there's tons of people going to work every single day with that existence, where it's, year to year. And we just had a season where, I had that realization this year, that reality this year. And, we were overall able to put together a strong season and get to the World Series. But the reality is this is the existence a lot of people, not only in baseball, but, in life in general have. So I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to be with this organization. I'm excited to work for the people that I get to work under and with, and especially this player group that so many of them have developed a really strong tie to.
Mike McCarthy is in the final year of his contract. Now, if you do a good job, they're going to give you a new contract. If you don't, you're going to get fired.
Yeah.
So Mike McCarthy's probably not coming back.
Now, I appreciate the sentiment, but it's not so much worried about Aaron Boone in the, being the lame duck end of his contract. It's how does it affect the rest of the team that the manager hasn't been given the vote of confidence?
I've thought about that, Don, but no manager has more sway over an organization than a guy with a 10-year contract. Even if he has a 4-year contract, it's nothing compared to the biggest star. You're gone at the whim of the star.
True, but it just overall the idea of the stability of, do they believe in our manager? Are we going to have to play? And sometimes I guess it could work as a positive, right? If they seem to really like Aaron, go out there, work hard for him. If we want to keep him as our manager, we're going to have to play hard in order for him to get a contract. But I think with the lane, when you ask a manager about not having that stability, I'm not asking from the standpoint like poor you. I'm asking from the standpoint of how does the team feel about that? Is it difficult for you to go into that room as the commander-in-chief of that organization and not have a contract? Like, there's that feeling like, well, you're kind of like auditioning for the job. That's really what you're doing. They didn't give you an extension. So how does that affect the players? How does that affect everybody in the organization to know that it could all change that quickly? Now, it could anyway. Even if you got a contract, doesn't mean you can't get fired.
Right.
But doesn't that add some stability to know that you're under contract beyond this year?
I guess they don't think it's going to have an impact. And he doesn't think that he'd be unable to manage without an extension. So
I think he'll get one.
I don't know. I thought so, too. But the way he was talking today, it looks like he's very content going into the season, because, again, if he became a free agent manager, he's going to have a lot of bites. He is. Hey, I don't know if you guys realize this, but the Hess Toy truck is back and better than ever for their 60th year.
There's no place like the road home. Receive a $5,500 bonus on the new 2024 Audi Q5 plug-in hybrid during the Season of Audi sales event.
When you order Domino's online, we'll give you a free pizza to use for a future pizza emergency. So you'll have an emergency pizza. A free pizza when you need it most.
There you go. Thank you. You're welcome. Enjoy.
Ticket to winning the season. Gift the chance to win up to $1 million with holiday scratch-off games from the New York Lottery.
Here we go. They're following us.
This is awesome.
Idiot.
The first ever Nissan Rogue Rock Creek.
Now, get 3.39% APR financing for 60 months on the 2025 Nissan Rogue Rock Creek.
Any NBA play can inspire your next hunch. And with 3 months of NBA League Pass from FanDuel, you're about to get a whole lot more inspiration. So if you think they're going to rock the rim right out of the gates, hello, or you want to RSVP to the block party,
There he is. Yes, sir.
or you think it's going to start raining threes,
Let's go!
FanDuel has more ways to bet on players so you can make your hunches happen. Right now, new customers bet $5 to get $150 in bonus bets if you win. Plus, all customers get 3 months of NBA League Pass on us. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook.
Untuck It makes every guy look better. From tall to short, from big to slim. From our iconic button-downs for all shapes and sizes to a whole lot more. Try us today. Untuck It. We just make guys look better. Oh, and we make great styles for her, too. Shop the sale now at untuckit.com and more than 80 stores worldwide.
It's big, it's back, and it's only $6. Get the big box y'all love today. And this holiday season, you can order a Cajun-style turkey at your local Popeyes.
Love that chicken from Popeyes.
If you're an asbestos victim, pay close attention. Billions of dollars are being paid out to people like you. We should know. We're Whites in Luxembourg, the law firm that already won over $9 billion for men and women just like you. That's right, over $9 billion for mesothelioma sufferers and their families. We know you're short of money, and we know you're short of time, so we fight hard. Call Whites in Luxembourg at 917-LAWYERS. That's 917-LAWYERS. Whites in Luxembourg, winning big for the little guy.
The holidays for me represent another year to celebrate with my family.
I'm thankful for the Prostate Cancer Foundation, for my family, for my doctors.
This holiday season, put talking with your doctor about prostate screening at the top of your list. Want more info? The Prostate Cancer Foundation is a trusted resource and community. Go to pcf.org to learn more today. Remember, it's your life.
The Health Class Film Guy isn't the best person to talk to your kid about vaping.
Got a few minutes?
You are. Talk to your child about vaping today.
There's no place like the road home. Receive a $5,500 bonus on a new 2024 Audi Q5 plug-in hybrid during the Season of Audi sales event.
And you're watching the Giants and the Jets. I mean, what an indoctrination to the sport. It's not the sport that you know and love. It's not great football. It's pathetic. They can't get out of their own way.
And it's as bad as it's ever been going back to when I was a kid. My first memory of football is at 1975. So I'm 56 years old. And you always wonder, like, why in New York are there so many Cowboy fans and Steeler fans and Raider fans? Because those were the teams that were good in the 70s when the Jets and Giants were god-awful. And so they were the ones that were on Monday Night Football, and they got a little exposure around the national landscape, so you were able to watch their games before there was DirecTV, before there was the Sunday Ticket and all that. We're getting to that point, Michael. What was it, from 75 to... But probably even before that, 75, the Giants didn't make the playoffs from 1964 to 1981. And the Jets, after they won the Super Bowl, right, they went to the championship game the next year, and then they were god-awful in the 70s. And then they got better a little late in the 80s. So you're talking about the decade of the 70s, Michael. It was god-awful football. But that was at least before there was all these wild cards and all these extra ways of making the playoffs. Now you got a chance to make it, Michael. There's 17 games. I mean, 9 wins should be able to get you into the playoffs, and they can't even do that. Giants have 2 playoff appearances since they won their last Super Bowl in 2011. The Jets have not made the playoffs. They're not going to make it again for a 15th consecutive year. It's incredible.
All right, so we detailed how bad the Jet game was yesterday and how bad the Giant game was. So they're both off to just god-awful starts. Now, the Jets are, obviously more of a surprise because a lot of people had them going to the Super Bowl. Foolish people that bet their whole, thought process on Aaron Rodgers being 25 years old again. But I was thinking about this. I wanted to throw it out there. If you're buying stock, who are you buying stock in? The Jet organization or the Giant organization? Because right now, you can make the case they're both at rock bottom. They really are. Because Aaron Rodgers is not the answer. You've left yourself without a quarterback, and you're probably going to get a new coach and a new GM. The Giants also don't have a quarterback. Looks like they might have a coach. Not sure about the GM. But it's become institutionalized in their DNA that they're awful and they don't make the playoffs. All right, so Don, you first. You're buying stock in one of these teams. Who are you buying stock in?
Well, if you're going to treat it like you would an actual stock, you'd have to look at the history. And there have been times where the Giants have been pure garbage and found their way out of it. The Jets haven't won a Super Bowl since 1968. So I guess the easy answer is the Giants just because we've seen them be bad and find a way out of it. But God, I don't know if you took history out of it and just looked at the now.
Yeah, take history out of it because the history of Howard Johnson's is great. You wouldn't buy stock in it now.
Yeah, but you do have it's still owned by partially by the Maras. I mean, there's a little something there, but still, even that right now I don't think is worth too much. But so let's say Rodgers retires. And they're obviously going to blow it up as far as the coach and the general manager. They're not bringing back Albrecht, and they'll probably let Joe Douglas go. Would you just go Giants because there's less of a chance that they'll blow it up? And at least
but you could also
the coach and the general manager?
You can make the case that the Jets might have more talent on their team.
Yeah, but we've seen what does talent mean if you can't coach it. Right?
But you're going to get a new coach is what I'm saying. You just don't know who it's going to be.
Right, but are they going to get it right? The Giants have been trying to get it right since Tom Coughlin, and we still don't know if they've been able to get it right. The Jets do seem to have more talent than the Giants do, but they're both. But it's crazy. They could both be looking for quarterbacks. They could both be looking for head coaches. They could both be looking for general managers. Right now, if you want to just base it on the draft, I guess would it be the Giants just because they've got a better chance of having a higher pick? So maybe they have a better crack at improving at quarterback than the Jets. But really, even that's fugazi because right now, when you look at this past draft, the guy that was selected first overall has probably been the worst of the rookie quarterbacks. So I don't know. That's a great question. I don't know.
See, now we can all get really depressed, but the guy that you see on the right of your screen right now is proof positive that you could go from just putrid to really good in 1 year if you get the right quarterback. And I don't know if that quarterback exists in this draft, but Peter, who are you buying stock in?
Oh, man.
Well, while you're thinking, it wasn't just changing the quarterback. It was changing the coach and coaches, right? You've got a completely different coaching staff with the quarterback. So that's part of it, too. I'm sorry, Peter.
No, it's just forced to choose. It's like...
Yeah, isn't this the fact that all three of us are, like, befuddled, show you how awful both teams are in both organizations?
It's really damning of the Jets, too, because I really did not feel great about the Giants' talent going into this year. But the Jets, the whole thing was, well, they're really good if they just have the quarterback. As bad as the quarterback has been, Michael, as you eloquently laid out earlier, the defense looks horrifying. So it's hard to get you excited to buy into any of that. I guess forced to choose, I still would probably, personnel-wise, I would buy the Jets. History-wise, though, I think it's more likely at some point the Giants get it right just because they're the Giants and not the Jets. But that's not based on anything except emotion.
What else can you base it on, Michael? I mean, the one edge you give the Jets is they seem to have more talent right now. The one edge you give the Giants is the history tells you they've been able to get out of it.
And the head coach looks like he could be the answer. You know that Ulbricht's not the answer. And I think that if they continue to lose games like they did in Carolina, Dable's going to lose his hold on this job. But, you know, you're talking about the wilderness years, Don, 64 to 80. You know, their win percentage during that time was .352. From 2017 to the present, you know what the Giants' win percentage is? .312.
That's amazing.
.312, and that's with an 11-win season in there.
Now, 11. Yeah, well, no, the 11-win season was 16.
Okay.
So that's with the 9-7-1 playoff game. So at least they went to the playoffs in that span where the Giants didn't go. But I'd have to look and see. I think there were a couple of years, if there were 3 wild cards, that Tarkington might have gotten them into the playoffs. I think they might have had a 7-7 season or an 8-6 season, didn't make the playoffs, and they might have made it now. But it was really, really bad back then. And it's back to that for both of these teams. And the fact that we could sit here and probably do a whole 3.5-hour show and take phone calls and not really come to any kind of resolution who's in better shape.
Yeah, it tells you how bad it is.
Now another thing that I think favors the Giants, although maybe many Giant fans will disagree, I think there's stable ownership with the Giants, even though I think sometimes Mara's his own worst enemy. I don't think Woody Johnson knows what he's doing. I think John Mara has at least a bit of a clue, and I think the mistakes that he makes is because I think he follows his heart instead of his head. Woody, I just don't think knows anything about football. And, he's going to be gone most likely if he's offered the job in England, and then you go back to having Chris running the franchise. So does that enter into the equation where you are with ownership? And does that favor the Giants, or do you think that's even too?
It's a mess. It's so depressing. It really is. I mean, the Giant game was depressing. What a way to start the day. And the Jets weren't even competitive in a game that really we all tried to make the case that maybe they're on the verge of a run. And they didn't show up. They didn't even have to get on the plane to Arizona. They didn't show up.
Now, that's a pretty good Arizona team that might find its way into the playoffs. And they've got some, nice signature wins, 49ers, Rams. But Michael was non-competitive. I mean, if the Jets had played anybody on Sunday, I think they would have lost.
No, the Patriots, they'd be all right. They'd be all right.
Well, I guess they match up well with Houston, but, they did not play well. Michael, I don't want to take anything away from the Cardinals. They should not be in any position to beat a team up the way they beat the Jets up.
No.
And for the Jets to not show, for whatever reason it is, just tells you it's not happening. So we'll see what the rest of the year presents itself. They'll tease you. They'll probably have a win. They'll have a moment. But can we all just agree now that there is no more path?
Well, I mean, sadly, there's still a mathematical path, but there's no path. But there is no path if they play like that, and that's who they are.
There's no vehicle to navigate the path.
No.
The path may exist, but, they're walking barefoot.
And the biggest disappointment, I know that the defense was awful, but Aaron Rodgers he's just been dreadful. Dreadful. I mean, we have to reasonably assume that he's healthy. It's been dreadful.
Well, and again, because, Michael, we live in reality. And healthy 40-year-old off of an Achilles surgery, Aaron Rodgers, that this might absolutely be what the healthy version of him looks like.
But here's the thing we
How do
need
we
to
know?
get to the bottom of. And he'll be on McAfee tomorrow, and we'll see if anything comes from that. Why is he not throwing the ball downfield? Why is it dink and dunk? Does he not have the arm? Does he not have the confidence? Is he worried about his own stats so his completion percentage is high so he can blame everybody else but himself when the season ends up crashing and burning? Why are they not utilizing these wide receivers downfield? You went out and got Devontae Adams. You've got Garrett Wilson. Why are you not throwing the ball downfield? Why? Why? Because you don't want too many interceptions? You don't want to lower your completion percentage? What are we doing, Michael? Running the ball is nice. It gains some yards, but they're not scoring points. You score points in this league by throwing the ball downfield, not dinking and dunking your way into the red zone and not being able to score. Stretch the field. They've got the ability. So why, Michael? Is his arm now
I don't know.
shot? We were told his arm's fine.
You know, the sad thing for Rodgers, he left Green Bay to have his Brady moment, to show that away from Green Bay and LaFleur, that he could win the Super Bowl like Brady did with Arians in Tampa Bay. If anything, he's hurt his reputation. I don't think you could ever erase the greatness that he had in, 4 MVPs. He's going to go to the Hall of Fame, but he's finishing on a terrible note. I mean, right now, Don, this might be dramatic. He's like Willie Mays' 73 World Series Rodgers. He's flopping around in center field right now.
I know. But he's flopping around, but he was the starting center fielder game 1 of the World Series.
Right.
His team's not going to the Super Bowl. But this is where I disagree with Chris Canty, who said it's going to affect his legacy. I don't think it will.
No. His legacy is what it is.
It's going to look bad for a while, but then history will remember this the way they remember Johnny Unitas in San Diego. Like, oh, yeah, he was a Jet, remember? And he will spin it that it was everybody else's fault but his own. So there'll be that little segment of the population, the Roger truthers, that will say it was the Jets that screwed Rodgers, not the other way around. And that will gain traction, Michael, because the Jets never get it right. So if he wants to spin, yeah, it was a mistake going to New York. It would have been better if I went to San Francisco, if I went someplace else. But unfortunately, I couldn't be traded in the conference, and the Jets had talent. I thought it would work. But look at the coaching, look at the owner, look at the mess the Jets always are. That is end up going to mark my words, Michael, 20 years ago when this conversation is had by a lot of people that didn't live through the Rodgers era, they'll just blame the Jets.
Yeah, but you know what? We'll look at the fact that his average yards downfield were 4.3. So something's up. So those that have lived it will know that it's not the same old Jets that did it to him. He is not a good player right now. I don't know why.
Well, is it the Achilles?
I don't know why. Maybe it's his age.
But there were moments, there were that. Listen, I know it's New England, and New England's not very good. Although they did a pretty decent job against the Bears, but they're not a great team. But he was shredding it. Where everybody and their mother's talking about, oh, look at this, the magic of Aaron Rodgers. Look how he could fit the ball through things that nobody else could even do. He's unbelievable. He's back, and obviously the what was it? The Cayenne pepper water really helped him with that big run against Houston, and they beat up on the Houston Texans national television. There were flashes. Like, why isn't it consistent enough? When you go up against a really good defense, what is it that can make him look like he's completely shot and then find the fountain of youth the next week?
It's mind-boggling to see him play this poorly and this passively.
Well, I'm curious to hear this, guys. I know we hate audio on this show. You want to hear Schefty's thoughts on Rodgers and the Jets' future?
Yeah.
Here's Schefter on McAfee.
I think everything's up in the air. Like, the season's been incredibly disappointing to everybody. Aaron looks to me like a guy. He doesn't look like he's having fun. It's not fun to lose. It's just not fun to be out there when seasons are going south like this and you're unable to string together victories and the offense isn't getting any points on the board and you're getting blown up in Arizona like that. That's not fun. So I just think that when an organization already has changed its head coach, when the GM is in the last year of his contract, when the team is not winning, you know that everything is up in the air.
So, I mean, I'm not surprised to hear that.
Nothing was said there, so I don't.
Hold on, let me do this, Don.
Well, the thing that I think he's going to come back, though, Peter,
the questions we've been
is this.
Yeah, but I do think it's interesting hearing it from Schefter.
He gave up his money last year. So by hook or by crook, he's going to stay around to get that money back next year. He just is. Think he's going to leave, what, $45 million on the table after he gave the money back last year?
And he's going to think that he's capable of getting it together.
Well, that's all greatness thinks that.
That's what I'm saying. He doesn't think that he's done. He thinks I need a year back to get my legs back. And next year I'll be good.
And we really need to see how they close out the season. Like, what if he finds a few nice games in December and teases the organization into thinking, all right, we get the right coach, and maybe we can find this happening again, as he's going to be turning 42, by the way, in December of next year for the playoffs. I can't imagine it's going to age better, but can he play well enough here in these final 7 games, not to get him into the playoffs, but at least change the narrative of maybe he can do it again, or convince himself he could do it again?
Let's go to Robbie in Massachusetts. Robbie.
Thanks, guys, for taking my call.
You got it.
I really enjoy the show. I've been a Giant fan since 1972, so, except for Peter, you guys could concur with me when I run through the 70s. This is what it reminds me of. But let me tell you something. In 1981, we drafted a kid named Lawrence Taylor. And it changed the entire structure and the entire nature of our team. The problem with this team is leadership, in my opinion. You have some talent. Obviously, we need a quarterback. The problem to me is the leadership. Where's the Antoine Rolls? Where's the Michael Strahans? Where's the Harry Carsons, the Lawrence Taylors? There's no accountability on the field. Why was Shane Bowden brought in here from Tennessee, from a lousy team? This guy is clueless. Look at the formations. I'm so tired of watching the secondary sit like 50 yards back on plays. I couldn't believe it. Can you explain to me why these guys are getting chunk plays 26 yards, 25 yards? I will say one reason is because Tibbs is hurt, and I hope he does come back. But the foundation from the organization itself, I blame John Mayer in some cases of hiring guys without experience, okay? Even Pat Shermer was a terrible coach, and you hired him. But here's my point. The point is that it's really about bringing in guys that have had success before. We don't know what Brian Dable really is yet. And the thing is, I will give Shane a couple of more years because it doesn't take only 2.5 years, guys, to build a roster. Let's be honest. 2.5 years is not a lot enough time.
Yeah, but some of his selections have been really bad.
Oh, they have. I agree with you. And, Donnie, just one thing up on the Rangers, and by the way, you do a great job. I listened to you and Dave the other night on the broadcast. If the Rangers think that they're going to get away with the crap that they've been playing with for the last 12 games against Winnipeg tomorrow night, they got another thing coming. They're in for a big rude awakening. I don't understand this. Chris Drury, and the other thing I wanted to say, guys, it's also about structure of team. When I look at 3 guys, Chris Drury, Brian Cashman, I know the Yankees got to the World Series. I understand that. And the Giants organization. It's really about structure to me, about putting a team together that's the right fit. The Yankees have flaws. We know about their base running. We know about other things that they do poorly, defense. The Giants haven't had a quarterback forever, and the Rangers are soft. Can you please explain to me, Don, why the Rangers choose to be soft all the time and play soft? There's 3 things they do so poorly. Their forechecking is terrible, their gap play is terrible, and their cycling is terrible. And I don't understand why Chris Drury doesn't see this. And I do, and most of the fans do, the lack of physicality. Anyway, guys, thanks for the time. Always enjoyed the show. Continued success and good health. All right, thanks, guys.
They're just got to make better decisions to play better in their own end. And so I don't think it's necessarily all lack of physicality. Just play better in your own end. Play better defensively. And then they're 9-3-1, but they have not played to the level of their record. But getting back to the Giants, Lawrence Taylor was a generational guy. But what turned it around was having the right general manager in George Young and then bringing in Bill Parcells. Because you had Ray Perkins. They made the playoffs in 81. The strike in 82 screwed things up. Perkins left to go to Alabama. Michael Parcells, after that first bad season, he was the best thing to happen to the organization. They got it right. George Young and Bill Parcells were able to turn that around. More than the drafting of one player, it was just making sure you had the right people in place. Do they have the right people in place? And I don't think anybody can confidently say they do. We could hope. There's some evidence that they may. But, Michael, if this season goes south again, can you really say with the utmost confidence that they've got the right general manager and head coach?
Well, it's certainly up for debate. That is certainly the case. 1-800-919-3776. We'll come back. More of this, also the NFL yesterday, and a big 6 o'clock hour. It's Kayla Greco, Rosenberg, and you on Yes and on 880 ESPN.
The Michael Kay Show on Yes is presented by Untuck It. Shirts designed to be worn untucked. Shop now at untuckit.com.
Untuck It makes every guy look better. From tall to short, from big to slim. From our iconic button-downs for all shapes and sizes to a whole lot more. Try us today. Untuck It. We just make guys look better.
It's the 60th anniversary Hess Fire Truck. A 3-toy set with blazing fire chief car and motorcycle, loaded with realistic sounds, lights, and a towering ladder. Get it now at HessToyTruck.com with free shipping and Energizer batteries included.
For the 60th year, the Hess Truck's here.
Dear Santa, my mom says I'm a good helper, but you didn't come last year. I just really hope this year when I wake up, I'm gonna see that you came to my house too.
Donate today.
It's gonna be okay. As soon as I can, honey. They really need me here right now.
We just wanted to call to say goodnight.
They're relying on her.
I love you so much.
We're relying on you. Please help.
In New York, all that anyone is looking for is a chance. In a place with endless possibility, New York Public Schools gives students the chance to find their voice in a chorus of millions, to play their first notes before striking a chord with the rest of the world, to learn small lessons in the gym before shining in the league, to not just study the stars, but see them up close. And every time you take a chance on the New York Lottery, our schools win.
Well, if you want my 2 cents on interest rates, we got options.
My 2 cents. This one's priced to sell.
My 2 cents?
My 2 cents?
My 2 cents?
My 2 cents?
My 2 cents? Here's my 2 cents on planning for the future. Interest plus interest equals more interest. Come on, man. You can do that.
Hi, Joan. Perfect timing. I have a few questions.
Of course. Let's look at your plan.
Do you suffer from knee pain? Ever been diagnosed with osteoarthritis? Or worried about the risks involved with knee surgery?
It hurt all the time, like the nerves were rubbing against each other.
I was at the point of either replace my knees because I'm tired of this pain.
Get the relief you need without surgery. We're Arthritis Knee Pain Centers, the premier leaders in non-surgical knee pain treatments. Instead of surgically replacing your knees, our state-of-the-art procedures replenish the depleted natural cushioning in your joints with an FDA-approved shock
shock-absorbing gel without surgery and without downtime.
After the first injection, I knew it was going to work.
We've successfully treated thousands of patients. Medicare and most private insurance cover this procedure.
Full motion, no pain, walking, everything just back normal like it used to be.
Locations in Garden City, Smithtown, and Wall, New Jersey. Call 1-800-834-5911 for a no-charge, no-obligation knee pain assessment, or go to arthritis-kneepain.com.
There I was, 16, divorced, remarried with a baby, another on the way, and I could barely read or write. Getting my high school diploma was a catalyst I needed. Now I have a bachelor's and master's, and I became a teacher. When I look at all these success stories, I could not help but think it all started by getting my high school diploma.
When you graduate, they graduate. Visit finishyourdiploma.org to find free and supportive adult education centers near you.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. Quick story. So my son plays flag football, and he played in the Super Bowl on Saturday, and they were playing this team that was very cocky. Every play they made, they acted like they were in the NFL. I mean, this is 8, 9, 10-year-olds. And all the histrionics, all the maneuvers, everything, just so arrogant and cocky. So Charlie's team ended up losing. They were losing 21-6. And I was on the sideline. Charlie comes up and he said, "Dad, these guys are so arrogant." I said, "You know how you stop it?" He goes, "What?" I said, "Win." And they ended up winning. And I hate to see kids upset, but I love to see my kid happy. But those other kids, they just could not believe that they lost. And I just looked at their coaches, and the coaches were doing a good job because the kids were schooled the right way, but they weren't schooled the right way on how to win. And I think that's why when people do what they do on the field, in the NFL, with all the arrogance and the showboating, it does transfer down the kids. And nobody on that team told the kids that's not the way to play. So it was somewhat karmic, let's put it that way, that they ended up losing. But don't think it's just harmless that it's happening on the TV screen, because that's what these 9 and 10-year-olds see, and that's how they act on the field. Just saying.
Hey, it's all about team, man. Like Marco wants to win desperately. He cares about the finals, which I love, and that's what it's supposed to be about with your team. Win with your team. Show respect to the opponent. Also, respect for your equipment. Like, don't take things for granted. Don't be spoiled. These are things that are ingrained. That's why they're playing sports now. I mean, listen, I'd love Marco to become a professional baseball player, but right now I'm just trying to teach him competition and how to be a good sport and getting along with other people. That's what you're hoping to learn at the age of 6. And then if everything else kind of comes together, it comes together. But I guess certain guys are so gifted and everything is about them their entire lives, they just don't know how to shut that off.
It's amazing.
Yeah, well, you know what? I don't know if good sportsmanship is always the thing that we're teaching these days.
No, we're not. We're not. Speaking of that, did you see that Jaylen Brown was upset with Giannis?
Well, in the Celtics went over more?
Yeah, because Brown was whistled for an offensive foul, and he held out his hand to Antetokounmpo. Antetokounmpo offered his hand to Brown, and then Brown reached out to accept. Antetokounmpo laughed and smiled at the gesture before reaching his hand back out again and, like, touching his head like kids do, like psych. And Brown said, "Giannis is a child. I'm just focused on helping my team get a win, and that's what we did tonight." Giannis said, "We always joke around with the flow of the game. It's something I do to my kids. I play around. This is who I am. I play the game with fun, joy." He didn't like it. Jaylen Brown did not like it.
Yeah, and, Giannis is starting to lose me a bit.
Oh, strong. Why?
Oh, I've been saying that. That's not super new. You don't listen to me, I know, but
what?
No, I've been saying that for the last year or so. He's turning into a heel. He got Budenholzer up out of Milwaukee. He's turned into a bit of a crybaby.
That didn't help. That didn't help his rep.
It's just this whole thing is not cute. And the idea that I'm watching the video now, I did not see it yesterday. The idea that another player, an all-star player on another team would go to give you 5 and you would pull your hand back and like rub it through your hair and think like it's all good as a goof. That's crazy, man. That's Jaylen Brown's a nice, peaceful young man, but that's fighting stuff. Don, did you see it?
I have not seen it.
Take a look. Come here. Take a gander here. You're telling me this an athlete does this to another athlete in the middle of a game? That's punching the throat territory.
Did you see this stat about dangerous? Russell Wilson currently just 2 touchdowns away from having the most touchdowns in a season for a Steelers quarterback since Roethlisberger retired. He's only played in 3 games.
Mr. Unlimited.
He has 6 passing touchdowns. No Steelers quarterback has had more than 7 in a season since Roethlisberger retired.
Man, I'm telling you, Mike Tomlin, that guy is something else.
It's called the Danger Witch.
That guy.
There's no way that Danny could still not like not like Tomlin, right?
I don't see how you could watch that game. Guys, you read the stat last week. The reason you didn't like the Commanders in the game last week, the main stat was what Pittsburgh does to rookie quarterbacks. And yesterday, although I think Jaden Daniels did enough for the team to win, and I thought he got let down a lot by his receivers.
And the officials, right?
And the officials, they did a number on Daniels. It was by far the best scheming for him anyone's done. He never could escape the pocket. I mean, that game was really won. Russell Wilson was great, but that was a Mike Tomlin signature kind of win. That's what they do.
But talking to, and I know a lot of Steeler fans, and especially the guys that, call the show that don't like Tomlin, is because they watch every play, and there's probably times where you're like, why didn't he do this? Why didn't he do that? But judging it from afar, every year you're in the conversation. It never bottoms out for Pittsburgh, ever. They might have disappointing seasons. They might not make the playoffs, but it never bottoms out. That's coaching. That's part of coaching, too. So you can sit there and go, oh, that was a bad game plan, or that was a bad play call. But just to have that kind of stability, you applaud that. Now, they haven't won a championship in a while. That's why I think it's kind of eerily similar to Aaron Boone, where it's like, oh, we got to win Super Bowls. But there's got to be something to the fact that every year that he's there, there's stability.
They're in first place in the AFC North. They have one of the most proficient offenses in the league. Do you consider that to be a stacked, all due respect to Najee Harris, is that a stacked offense they have?
No.
And it's a well-coached football team.
And also, and we talk about Daniel Jones and how he's supposed to win without a quarterback. I'm sorry, Russell Wilson is on the back 9. They started the year with Justin Fields. It's not like they're getting a superior quarterback play, all right? And they're finding a way to make it work. Now, obviously, Russell Wilson, even at this advanced age, is way better than Daniel Jones. But we thought that it was a mistake going to Wilson because they were winning games, but they saw that they can actually get better, and they were right. Now, I still think they're the 3rd best team in that division. I think Cincinnati's going to figure it out like San Francisco. I think we're going to look at Cincinnati and San Francisco in December and go, oh, my God, there they are. And Baltimore I still think is great. But you know what? Right now, getting ready for Week 11, believe it or not, they're in first place with Russell Wilson at quarterback.
It's crazy.
Let's go to Mike in Woodbridge.
Hey, guys. What's going on?
How you doing?
Thank you for taking the call. So, first of all, the Jets, yeah, they're broken. It is what it is. But I'm gonna do, hopefully, when with Trump winning, maybe Woody, dips off and the brother takes over, does something different.
We can all hope.
But, I'm Peter. I'm like your age, but I tend to agree with Don with most of the things. So what he said too about you're losing opportunities to find fans right now. So when I was growing up, the only time I saw my dad upset was when the Niners beat the Giants, and I was a dumb kid, so I just became a Niners fan. So exactly what you're saying is like they're losing a lot of fans right now, and it's horrible what's going on. And you're right; they follow fantasy people, they follow guys as opposed to teams now, and they're losing a big opportunity right now. But also, I want to tell you a funny story. So you guys are going to Tommy's December 13th, right?
Yep.
Yes.
So put things in perspective. I work at one of those establishments, and Born Esiason walks in, and I tell this kid, I go, hey. that's the quarterback from the Jets, Bengals back in the day. And he goes, no. That's the guy that works on a show and talks about football. I'm like, oh, my God.
But you know
anyway,
what?
Guys, I love you.
I think, and we thank you for the phone call. I think there's a lot of people that think Paul O'Neill is an announcer.
Yeah.
That's just the way it is. I mean, it's what have you seen in front of you? So if you're 27 years old, you think of Paul O'Neill as an announcer more than the Warrior.
Of course.
So you think of Boomer more, doing radio than you do playing.
Sure. Do you know how many people under 50?
It's impressive they knew what a radio show was.
Yeah, right. Anybody under 50 probably never remembered, unless they were told, that John Madden was a coach.
Phil Rizzuto.
So no, that makes sense. And you think, the Giants, Jets losing fans. They play in an awful building. You're paying for PSLs. The teams never win there. And you've got the ability through fantasy and through gambling and through the Sunday ticket to watch other teams and root for other teams. There could be an erosion, Michael, if you don't start turning it around. Because I am still of that mode that even though there's a better game on, I'm still going to watch my team play. But do you think a younger generation is a slave to that? Well, I'm a Jet fan. I got to watch the Jets down 30 when I can flip on another station and be able to watch a quality football game and two quality teams go at it.
You mentioned the PSL. I mean, talk about something that didn't age well. Remember how they said it was a good investment? You couldn't give away a PSL now. Because why would you buy a PSL if you could get a ticket on a secondary market? There's no need to have a PSL. Mm-hmm. All those people that spend hard-earned money. That's the one thing. I mean, we always talk about the Maras. They handle themselves with the utmost class. That was terrible. That was terrible. All those great Giant fans all the years had to pony up for the right to buy tickets. And the Jets did the same thing.
Oh, yeah. I just don't know how you go. We went out to dinner a couple of Sundays ago, and there was a couple that were across from us, had the Giants jerseys on, and they were coming back from the game and getting dinner. And we were talking to them. It's just, how do you do that? You tailgate. They're 0-5 at home.
And they don't score at home.
They don't score at home. And you're investing so much money and so much time. And we all love our teams because we're committed. But, when Marco starts to grow up, I say Marco, not Jalen, because Jalen has no interest in sports. With all the options, is Marco going to become a diehard fan of garbage? I did because my father was a fan, and what other alternative I have? It was 1 o'clock. There was no other game on. Giants were playing the Cowboys, getting their brains beat in. There was no Sunday ticket. There was no game on another channel. There was no satellite radio to go listen to another game, right? There was no computer to go find another game. Highlights. That was it. I watched that. And I was completely committed to that. It's almost insanity for a young fan to sit there and watch all this losing and say, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life.
It's so depressing, too. Football, as you guys know, is so by far my favorite thing to talk about. And it's basically been a rumor the entire time I've been on the show. We had the Miami boat trip team was during my tenure here.
Yes.
But the Jets have basically been hot garbage the whole time.
Never made the playoffs since you've been here.
And the Giants have now been bad ever since then. And every year, it's just a killer. All three of us desperately want to have football to talk about the rest of the year. It just keeps dying.
And listen, we could talk about the Knicks and the rain. It's November. So thank God football's a national sport, so we can talk about the other games. And once we get to the playoffs, we can talk about them. But
and we're gonna have Soto to talk about a lot.
But that's going to have to, at some point, have something happen. You talk about it, but you got to have something happening. It's so depressing that football has been this bad. I mean, really bad.
Yeah, it's not what you want.
These are two of the worst teams in football.
We'll talk more football with the NFL yesterday coming up in a moment. But first, Peter has something to say.
But the seat is leather.
Alan, we get it. You love your bike. We do too.
That's why we're America's #1 motorcycle insurer.
But do you have to wedge it into everything?
What? Don't do that. This reminds me of my bike. The Wolf was about the size of my new motorcycle. Have you seen it, by the way? Happy birthday, Grandma!
Really?
Look how the brushstrokes follow the line of the gas tank. Hey! Brought my +1. Jamie.
Is Cialis Daily better than Viagra? Does it last longer than Viagra? Are sample packs available? Get started with a 30-day sample pack. Generics now only $1 per tablet at rexmd.com/30. Does RexMD really work? Over 85% of patients said not only does it work, they saw results the very first night. Get started with a 30-day sample pack. Generics now only $1 per tablet at rexmd.com/30.
There's some big loot in town right now. The Emirates NBA Cup, and all the heavy hitters are after it. Again.
It's on.
Oh, it's on. This season, it's heavily guarded. The whole league is after this thing.
That cup is mine.
But there's only one way to snatch the cup.
Let's see what happens on the court.
Eyes forward. Don't drive distracted.
A team grows in Brooklyn. Block by block. Play by play. Shot by shot.
We got Nets.
You coming?
Extreme weather and climate disasters have sadly become a reoccurring part of our lives, and less than half of all pet owners have a disaster plan in place. Unfortunately, those plans tend to forget about our furry friends, so it's more crucial than ever to have a well-packed pet disaster kit on standby with your pet's essentials. For over 140 years, the team at American Humane have been lending a hand to animals in need. Natural disasters threaten humans and animals alike, so take precautions to keep you and your pet safe. For more information, please check out AmericanHumane.org.
A waterfall made of fire. Goats that defy gravity. A turning point in history. A palace carved out of clay. A place where we grew wings. A thunderstorm beneath your feet. An eternal torch and an enduring dream. National parks are extraordinary. So is the support you give them.
Dear Non-Stick Surface. You're great for scrambling eggs, but to drive on, well, that's what it feels like when things get rough. Good thing we have amazing traction. Let's bond. Toyota all-wheel drive vehicles.
Get Black Friday savings all month long. Lease RAV4 with all-wheel drive for just $299 a month. Find yours at Toyota.com. Toyota. Let's go places.
Untuck It makes every guy look better. From tall to short, from big to slim. From our iconic button-downs for all shapes and sizes to a whole lot more. Try us today. Untuck It. We just make guys look better. Oh, and we make great styles for her, too. Shop the sale now at untuckit.com and more than 80 stores worldwide.
It's big, it's back, and it's only $6. Get the big box y'all love today. And this holiday season, you can order a Cajun-style turkey at your local Popeyes.
Love that chicken from Popeyes. Well, if you want my 2 cents on interest rates, we got options.
My 2 cents. This one's priced to sell. My 2 cents?
My 2 cents?
My 2 cents? My 2 cents? My 2 cents? Here's my 2 cents. I'm planning for the future. Interest plus interest equals more interest. Come on, Bill. You can drink that.
Hi, Joan. Perfect timing. I have a few questions.
Of course. Let's look at your plan.
You're not going to get it all right. Just make sure you nail the big stuff. Like making sure your kids are in the right seats for their age and size. Get it right at nhtsa.gov/the right seat.
Promise you
won't vape, Emma. Wacky sitcom teens aren't the best people to talk to your kid about vaping.
You got a minute?
You are. Talk to your child about vaping today.
My favorite time of the week, kids, is the NFL Yesterday, brought to you by me, myself, and I.
Really?
Well, yeah, there's no actual technical sponsor, Don, but I feel that I am bringing it to you. And brought to you by my friend Anthony, who does a lot of work behind the scenes to get us all set up for a great, great rendition of this week's the NFL Yesterday. Now, I generally prefer doing this after a big Commander win.
Right, but
I've
then
gotten
we
used
never
to that.
do it.
What?
But I thought you were going to say about the Jets and Giants.
Oh, no, please.
Sorry.
Don't be unrealistic. However, yesterday, Russell Wilson led the Steelers to a 28-27 victory over my beloved Washington Commanders behind 3 touchdown passes, including a go-ahead 32-yard touchdown to who? Mike Williams. Remember him?
I can't believe he wasn't injured, though, Peter.
No, he seemed fine.
When he got thrown under the bus, I mean, that would injure a lot of people.
That is true. That's
tough to get up from.
Well, guess what? He moved the bus, went to Pittsburgh, and caught a game winner from another over-the-hill quarterback who's playing much better than his former over-the-hill quarterback. Let's hear the call from ESPN Radio. It's Steve Levy and Sal Pal.
Wilson breaks the huddle. And they do. They get the Commanders to jump. Washington jumped.
That's what they were trying to do.
Russell Wilson, the hard count. He's doing some dancing.
When he celebrated that, guys,
I get it.
I'm going to have to do some work here, Michael.
About?
So over the last decade or two, when there's a tough loss, I definitely would get angry. But I did not remember what it's like to be rooting for a team that's 7-2. And in your hope of going 8-2, you lose, and it feels like such a big loss because your team's actually become good and meaningful again. I had to walk out of the house for a moment to gather myself.
Sorry.
Well, you don't understand what it's like because you haven't rooted for a team in a long time.
I root for us.
Let's not debate that. It's just a different experience, though. You know what I mean? Because you can control us to some extent. I can't do anything about the Commanders jumping offside. Let's hear from Mike Tomlin in the postgame on Mike Williams.
He's a veteran guy. He's a quick study. We didn't throw everything at him, but we threw enough, particularly the one-dimensional ball, the passing circumstances. We didn't want him over there standing with us at the weightiest of moments.
Pittsburgh closed as a 1.5-point underdog per ESPN bet, marking its 5th straight win outright as a dog.
Can I say one quick thing about Mike Williams, though, Peter?
Sure. Yeah, of course.
So he sent out a tweet, and it was like dreamlike. He said thankful. Hashtag Holada. Hashtag we back. Hashtag red line. That was throwing shade at Rodgers for saying that he needed to be down the red line. These guys don't forget. So if you think that Aaron Rodgers with his stupid arrogance doesn't affect other players, obviously affected Mike Williams. Hashtag red line. What could he have meant?
Michael, look at you doing the research, getting it done.
I like that, Michael.
You just brought something to the show. And I don't always think that about you.
Thanks.
You really?
I wouldn't. That's a terrible thing to say.
You brought it right there. As for how good Mike Tomlin and the Steelers are at coaching their defense up, Jaden Daniels posts his season lows in completion rate and rushing yards. 50% completion rate, 5 rushing yards. Looking forward to hearing Danny still complain maybe later in the show about Mike Tomlin. And, of course, as you just heard, Washington had a chance for a game-winning drive, but were drawn offside. And there was some controversy on the previous drive, the 4th and 9 spot from the 50. But we digress. San Francisco defeats the Buccaneers 23-20 on a game-winning field goal by Jake Moody as time expired in regulation. Moody had missed 3 field goals in the game prior to this from KNBR.
Number 4. We'll try to make it here. Good snap. Jake has it away. Jake has the distance, and Jake Moody is good! Money! Moody! Wow. Somehow, some way, the Niners win in Tampa Bay.
The 49ers trailed 17-13 in the fourth quarter, and Brock Purdy led a game-winning drive with 41 seconds left, his second career game-winning drive in the fourth quarter overtime, with the other coming back in 2022, his rookie year against the Raiders. The reigning NFL Offensive Player of the Year, Christian McCaffrey, had 107 scrimmage yards in his season debut. Get ready for that San Francisco 49er train to start chugging along. I think they're like, I saw them today in a power ranking in the teens. I don't see that lasting. They will be moving on up like the Jeffersons. Let's go and talk some Kansas City Chief football. The Chiefs beat the Broncos 16-14 to improve to 9-0 after a blocked potential game-winning field goal. Let's hear the call from 96.5, The Fan.
35-yard attempt, well within his range. 18 of 20 this season. Lutz waiting for the snap. Placement is down. Lutz's kick is blocked. It's blocked. It's blocked. The Chiefs blocked the kick. They're going to stay undefeated. The Kansas City Chiefs blocked a 35-yard field goal attempt. Kansas City wins this game on a blocked field goal.
Now, listen, it's not going to get the same kind of coverage as a Hail Mary. But when you think about it, the blocked shore field goal at the end of a game, Don, it's Hail Mary adjacent.
No, of course it is. And I can't say they were lucky to win because that was amazing that they blocked the kick. Now, they're going to have to play better. I still believe they can be had. I know it's not going to age well. They're not. I'm telling you.
Michael,
they're home against Denver. Stop it.
When they win the Super Bowl.
Right,
no, by the way, hold on. Just hear me out. I don't disagree with you, but just hear me out. They're going to win the Super Bowl. They're going to break the 72 Dolphins, right? It's all going to happen. And Don's going to be sitting there in the third quarter going, this team can be had. Right. They can be had.
And I'll be here that Monday after the Super Bowl.
Hey,
Bart Scott, listen, he might have even gotten an extension by this radio station after saying that they're not winning the Super Bowl. And they won the first one against Philadelphia.
No, by the way,
in this run.
SVP said it earlier. They're yet to have a complete game.
Yeah, and it's going to bite them at some point. I know they keep winning, and I think that's sometimes again.
Yeah, but that's also a testament to how good they are.
I understand, but we know they're good. Nobody's disputing how good they are. I'm just saying, Michael, the longer this run goes, the more I think they can end up being had when you can't get up from the loss. You know, and you'll look back and go, boy, maybe if they had lost that game against Denver, it would have woke them up a little bit. They're playing so close. 7 of the 9 games were all decided by one possession.
God, I'm going to be busy next Sunday.
How busy?
Very busy. I'm going to be at Complex Con in Las Vegas. And at 4:25, which is 1:25 in Las Vegas, I'll be in the middle of doing stuff for WWE and Netflix at Complex Con. And do you know what's happening at 4:25 Eastern time next Sunday? The aforementioned Kansas City Chiefs getting a true test at the Buffalo Bills. You know what that smells like? Hello, friends. That's a game.
And how about our guy Michael, who you don't think shows up all the time?
Well, what are you talking about?
He had Josh Allen as the MVP way back when they were still playing baseball and the sun was shining.
And I also remember during that time, Don, to the Wayback Machine, Peter really abused me for that.
Oh, he mocked you. He openly mocked you.
And I also, if I recall at that time, this is how I should have known the year was going to be pretty rough. Although I traded all for the Commander season anyway. Who cares? But I also had the Dolphins winning the AFC East.
Oh, no.
Well, you also, to give you kudos, had the Washington Commanders as a player.
Yeah, and we mocked you.
You were equally
We
mocked.
mocked you, yes.
You know what? Maybe you should listen to this show. A lot going on. A lot of good things are going on.
You know what? You're not wrong. Let's close out with a game that kind of broke me and Michael's heart last night. Sunday Night Football, the Lions overcame a 16-point deficit and 5 interceptions by Jared Goff. I mean, he had 4 in the previous 8 games, 5 last night. That kills your season totals, Don. But it doesn't matter because guess what? In the end, they come back from 16 down and win 26-23. A rookie field goal kicker out of nowhere. Let's hear the call from 97.1, The Ticket in Detroit.
There's the snap, spot, kick away. It is up, and it is good. He got it. We're going to fly home on the wings of Jake Banks. Oh, baby. Good from 58. Good from 52. And that's good enough for a victory for the Detroit Lions.
Not a home call if I've ever heard one. Hey, real quick, the one thing I felt like they didn't sell enough on TV last night, were you guys both watching?
Yeah.
The fact that the game-tying and game-winning kicks were as narrowly good on opposite sides as they were, I've never seen it in my life.
On the game winner, if there was hair on that post, they would have shaved it off.
By the way, Don, the tying one was the same thing on the
Now,
right
can I
side.
ask you something, Peter? Because I want to know how your mind works, if it works like mine.
Yeah, go ahead.
If my pick doesn't win, I want the team to lose.
I was just going to ask you that. You have
and I like the Lions, but if you're not going to do it for me, I'm not doing it for you.
No, you know what got me mad, actually? I was a little angry that they were so quick to easily settle for a 51, 52-yard field goal. Because, of course, I want them to cover the points, Michael. And I'm like, the kind of offense you have, why not try to march into the end zone?
Exactly.
Don't settle for a long kick.
No.
And instead, they get it by the hairs of their chinny chin chin. That'll do it for the NFL yesterday, Week 10 edition. Don, can you believe it? Week 10.
It's unreal.
Unreal. Hey, it may be the offseason, but every season is big on season.
Hey guys, how we doing? You ready? Hey, Adams Elementary. Go Rams. I think he needs one too. What do you think? All right. You guys ready to fight some crime?
This is not just flu protection.
Okay, well, you go get him, all right? Bye.
This is a neighbor looking out for you. Schedule flu and COVID-19 vaccines for you and your family today. Walgreens.
It's big, it's back, and it's only $6. Get the big box y'all love today. And this holiday season, you can order a Cajun-style turkey at your local Popeyes. Love that chicken from Popeyes.
Untuck It makes every guy look better. From tall to short, from big to slim. From our iconic button-downs for all shapes and sizes to a whole lot more. Try us today. Untuck It. We just make guys look better. Oh, and we make great styles for her, too. Shop the sale now at untuckit.com and more than 80 stores worldwide.
Do you suffer from knee pain? Ever been diagnosed with osteoarthritis? Or worried about the risks involved with knee surgery?
It hurt all the time, like the nerves were rubbing against each other.
I was at the point of either replace my knees because I'm tired of this pain.
Get the relief you need without surgery. We're Arthritis Knee Pain Centers, the premier leaders in non-surgical knee pain treatments. Instead of surgically replacing your knees, our state-of-the-art procedures replenish the depleted natural cushioning in your joints with an FDA-approved shock-absorbing gel, without surgery and without downtime.
After the first injection, I knew it was going to work.
We've successfully treated thousands of patients. Medicare and most private insurance cover this procedure.
Full motion, no pain, walking, everything just back normal like it used to be.
Locations in Garden City, Smithtown, and Wall, New Jersey. Call 1-800-834-5911 for a no-charge, no-obligation knee pain assessment or go to arthritis-kneepain.com.
Do you spend hours maintaining your gutters? Save that time with LeafGuard's maintenance-free system. Call 1-833-2-GUTTERS. Mesh filters sit on top of your gutters, building up debris and eventually clogging. Then they need to be cleaned too. Honestly, your home should have been built with LeafGuard gutters. LeafGuard's wraparound hood deflects debris and keeps water away from your home. The one-piece seamless system is strong, 20% thicker than average, and built to last. Plus, LeafGuard is guaranteed to never clog for as long as you own your home. Right now, get a complete LeafGuard system for only $99 down, $99 a month, and $99 installation. You'll also receive a $100 Visa gift card with a free gutter inspection and in-home estimate. Damage from clogged gutters can cost you thousands. Never worry about clogged gutters again. Don't wait, you've still got time. Call 1-833-2-GUTTERS today. That's 1-833-2-GUTTERS.
Can't you make up your mind? Oh, 'cause you're so far away. Am I just wasting my time? Yeah.
Yes Network is now streaming on Fubo.
Watch the Nets and more of your local teams. Streaming live on all your devices. Plus, over 350 top channels. Start watching at FuboTV.com.
Your attention, please, ladies and gentlemen. You're watching, yes.
There I was, 16, divorced, remarried with a baby, another on the way, and I could barely read or write. Getting my high school diploma was a catalyst I needed. Now I have a bachelor's and master's, and I became a teacher. When I look at all these success stories, I could not help but think it all started by getting my high school diploma.
When you graduate, they graduate. Visit finishyourdiploma.org to find free and supportive adult education centers near you.
Eyes forward. Don't drive distracted.
How do you argue against?
You can't argue with that. That was strong. That was strong. It was beautifully said, laid out nicely.
By the way, I think it's time for us all to go.
Why?
With all due respect, Don. The Jets lost 31-6 yesterday, and our point guard was the Jets defense isn't very good. We should all retire. We can do better as a team, can't we?
Wow.
Maybe we're morons. Maybe he thinks of us all as functional morons. You had to say something today that was more profound than the defense stinks. But I guess you're right. It's less obvious than the Rodgers stinks. They all stink.
Hey, listen, you're going to have to ask the judges. I'm just...
Well, listen, the judges made their call. Don, I accept what I'm handed. You know what I mean? I'm not going to run into and go poop in Anthony's office. I'm not going to go do anything insane. I'm going to accept it. It was a great point. It was well put together. It was well constructed.
So you want something just outrageous to be point guard. I will not fight. Don deserved that.
No, listen, I'm having a little fun because I think everything we said about the Jets is like who wouldn't notice all of it, but that sometimes the simple point is the point.
Wow, Don, he's calling you simple.
No, I mean, he doesn't be insulting. It's not insulting.
It sounds it.
Don's had some point guards that you go, oh my God, I never thought of that. Yesterday, the Jets' defense being absolutely horrid, I had thought.
Yeah, but I think the fact he used the word shredded really amplifies it.
It did. It hit a certain way. And the pointing out, you pointed out sauce, which needed to be pointed out. The 5 straight possessions is never what you're looking for.
I think he was brilliant. I think he earned it, and I think I completely.
If I had said the same point, Michael, you'd protest the entire thing.
Absolutely not. I'm a big fan of yours. Right now on MLB Network, they're providing the finalists for all the major BBWAA awards, and the American League MVP just came out. Mm-hmm. So who do you think the top 3 are?
I'm going to throw Aaron Judge in the
Okay,
Aaron,
there you go.
Yeah, Aaron Judge, Bobby Witt Jr.
Yeah, the number 3 is the one that you might, it's not that easy.
So, can you have 2 MVP candidates from the same team, or does that go against?
You can.
Oh, so it'd be one.
Then it would be one soda.
That's who it is, yeah. That's who it is.
But do you understand why I asked the question? I understand legally you can. Obviously, I understand that. But I'm saying, does it make sense? I never understand if it makes sense to have 2 MVP candidates from the same team.
Well, usually, not in this case, because I think Judge is going to win in a landslide. When you have 2 guys from the same team, they steal from each other votes, and then the other guy wins.
Yeah, but I've always wondered the veracity of that, because each team in the American League gets 2 votes. So let's say that the 2 guys that saw the Yankees split the vote of Soto and Judge. Doesn't mean you split the other votes. You know what I mean?
Well, what people are suggesting is that there's impropriety. Like that there are some people who think that New York always wins, but I got news for you. Usually it works against them.
But you know why New York always wins? Because New York's the greatest. The greatest.
But I think there's more of a New York bias against voting for them. Like, oh, they have everything. Let's go. Let's give it to Bobby Witt Jr. because what does Kansas City have? That kind of deal. There's been. I thought Darryl Strawberry should have won in '88. I thought Jaromir Jagr should have won MVP back in '06, and they gave it to Joe Thornton. I think there's more examples of New York not winning when they should than vice versa. But I don't know what they're thinking around the country. Aaron Judge is going to win in a landslide.
Yeah, you heard it, and so is Ohtani.
And honestly, I think Bobby Witt Jr. should be second.
I do too. Absolutely. Brilliant defensively, won the Gold Glove. Mm-hmm. And if it wasn't for Aaron Judge, he would win the MVP, I think. Let's go to Pete in Staten Island. Pete.
How are you guys? Good afternoon.
What's going on?
How are you, sir?
All right, I wanted to chime in with the Giants a little bit. And, I got a big problem with the Shane thing and Daboll. And the problem is that, in my opinion, when the ink dried on that Daniel Jones contract, that's when they picked their quarterback. Because how many chances do you give a guy? They doubled down on him again this year. They didn't draft a quarterback last year. They haven't drafted a quarterback in the 3 years they've been here, okay? And they're paid to evaluate quarterbacks. So how the hell can I trust their evaluation going forward to pick a quarterback if they were so wrong about Daniel Jones? That's number one. The second part of this, and I would appreciate feedback on both, is Brian Daboll's always talked about as this quarterback whisperer, right? Well, and they talk about Josh Allen. And Brian Daboll, well, he made Josh Allen. How about it's the other way around?
Could be.
Josh Allen made Brian Daboll.
Pete, it's hard to argue with that. But, Brian Daboll does have a pretty decent coaching resume. I mean, he was with New England, he was with Alabama. He's been with, he's been with Saban, he's been with Belichick. He's a pretty well-respected coach, but you make a great point. Maybe it was Josh Allen that burnished the reputation of Daboll, not the other way around.
Well, the thing is, Michael, is that they now own Daniel Jones. This is no longer Gettleman's pick. They had a chance to get out of the business of Daniel Jones, and they doubled down. Now, I think once they did that, they needed to make it work at least through the second year because they knew they had an out after the second year. But if you watched Hard Knocks, they tried to draft a quarterback. They just weren't in a position to do it, and they couldn't make a deal to move up to get May. They would have. If they could have made a deal with New England, they would have made it. But they couldn't, so they tried to make it work. So I think they did the right thing, and they drafted Neighbors. But now they're going to get out of the Daniel Jones business. I just want to know how they're going to solve the defensive secondary. How are they going to work on this offensive line? So for the people who think they're just a quarterback away, they're not. I think a quarterback's going to help tremendously, but they're going to need help elsewhere as well.
Bill in Delaware. Bill.
Gentlemen, I don't know how good the quality of the line is, but thank you for the call. I think in the Giants, I think it's a shared responsibility. Jones is not the top 10 quarterback everybody thought he would be. But then again, I don't think the administration is the top 10 administration. I think that Daboll and Shane both are responsible, and their coaching staff. Case in point, back when Tom Coughlin said Tiki Barber had a problem with the fumbling, I know Tracy's a rookie. However, coaching, did you see when he fumbled that ball? He was hanging onto that ball like it was a loaf of bread.
Well, yes, and he said that he was trying to obviously get open, and he said he had the ball too low. I know what you're saying, Bill, but I mean this is his first year. Tiki Barber was around a couple of years before Tom Coughlin was able to solve that.
And listen, he wasn't the plan right away, and they discovered something. I felt terrible for him because he was probably the player of the game, got him back into it, had a big 32-yard touchdown run, and you could just see how devastated he was. That's how you know that you can't tank. I mean, these players are given everything they could try to win, and he's been tremendous this year, and he was tremendous yesterday. I felt terrible that he cost him the game.
Danny in Long Island. Danny.
There you go.
There he is.
No, Peter, Danny is not here to gloat. It was a great game, as you guys said earlier. Outdoor game, slightly fall to winter conditions. It actually was like kind of warm, but outdoor on grass, two highly coached teams. You could see you watching playoff quality. Came down to one play. You know, we win the game. It wasn't a landslide, to use the word we've heard this week. It was a one-play game. And I saw your Instagram post, and I completely agree with what you said today. Now you're in the big time, and now every game is like getting a tooth pulled. There's almost like no joy. Once you reach the top level and you're looking to win every game, these one-play games will drain your soul. Like you said, you haven't experienced it. I haven't not experienced it. How's that for a spoiled, rotten brat? Steelers haven't lost a game by more than 7 points in like 5 years.
That's insane. So are you ready to give Coach Tomlin his flowers again for another brilliant coaching performance because they really did a job yesterday.
Two things. Coach Tomlin is better now than he was previously. You know, he did have a Hall of Fame quarterback for the last 10 years and didn't win a playoff game. There is an argument to be made there. But he has changed. When a man is throwing fake punts on his own 15-yard line in the first quarter of the game and going for on a 4th and 1, and I believe they were going to go for on 4th and 1 at the end of the game because in the post-game comments, he made comments like, this is now 2024. You have to possess the ball. If you give the ball back to the Commanders there, I think they're going to go get a field goal. And one last comment. It was a great game. If I was going to bet everything I had in my life right now, it would be on the Eagles Thursday night. The Washington Commanders just played a 59.5-minute slugfest of brutal football, and the coach for Washington said so. And they have 3 days to get ready to play against the Eagles, who played the cupcake team of all time, the softest team. And they have to go to Philadelphia and be ready to play. That's terrible.
No, you're not. It's one of the reasons I don't feel great about Thursday. So it's a fair point by you. And by the way, we didn't spend any time on it, of course, because the Commanders lost. If they had won, which had nothing to do with this specifically, what the hell were they thinking on the fake punt from their own 15-yard line?
Well, they had a play that worked.
It worked. He dropped the ball.
I get it. But no matter what, whether it worked or not, you know when you're throwing the ball on a weird play with a court person, you have someone throwing the ball who doesn't normally throw the ball. You know it can go wrong. At that point, the Washington offense had shown no ability to move the ball yet, and you handed them 7 points to tie the game. I get it. It worked. But why was the risk worth it at that spot? I just don't get it. I understand we've gotten into a wacky version of the NFL. Fake punt in the first quarter from your own 15-yard line. That is like 9-year-old Tecmo Bowl stuff. I've been singing Tomlin's praises all day. That was bizarre. And I really think got Washington in the game. I initially had this concern. I'm like, oh, they've solved Daniels. We're going to get down big. And they gave us a free touchdown. It was very weird to me.
During the weekend, Roki Sasaki and his team agreed that he would be posted. He's 23 years old. He throws upwards of 100 miles an hour. Great slider, great splitter, the whole deal. A really, really talented young pitcher from Japan. But for some reason, he decided to be posted now rather than wait 2 years. So the most money he could get is the money that's left in each team's account to sign foreign players. He can't, he's going to be signed to that sort of deal. Where Yamamoto came over and got $350 million, Sasaki is going to come over and get maybe 2.5. I think the Dodgers have the most money. But I will make a prediction about this. Every team wants him, and every team can afford him. Because, again, it's going to cost at most $2.5 million. That's it. So any team can afford him. If he goes to the Dodgers, as some people think he's going to, Don and Peter, you mark my words. Major League Baseball is going to have to institute a draft for Japanese players. You can't have them all go to one team. You just can't. I would say that if it was the Yankees, too. You can't have Ohtani go there, Yamamoto go there, and Sasaki now go there. It would tip the balance of power without affecting the money. Now, obviously, they paid big money for Ohtani and Yamamoto, but if you get Sasaki at this price, it almost seems like it's unfair. And games the Dodgers play are morning games in Japan. So they're heavily watched as people are getting to go to work. I bet you that Major League Baseball will institute some sort of draft where you cannot continually just give the best Japanese players to the Dodgers. We'll see. We'll see if the Padres supposedly have a shot. Yankees and the Mets are interested. As I mentioned, every team is interested, but every player from Japan might want to go to the Dodgers to join Ohtani.
Right, and then that's the X factor, right? Because the Padres are really good.
Yep.
So that's just
and the weather's great
same
there.
Distance and the weather, but obviously there's an attractiveness to L.A. and having Ohtani there. I just don't know what you do about it because it could very easily be, if Ohtani had stayed with the Angels and the Angels were good, then they'd have the advantage. But they weren't good enough to be able to keep him. They couldn't afford him. He goes to the Dodgers. I mean, it's Michael. You could say the same thing about the deferments. And listen, LA's really attractive place to go. They're very good. Weather's great. I mean, I don't know how you. I mean, I guess this particular thing you can govern, but there's a lot of advantages teams are going to have over other teams. There's always going to be that. And right now, it's just in the wheelhouse. Would they have this advantage if they didn't have Ohtani? Would they have this advantage if they weren't a great every single year? Probably not. So, I don't know. Who would stop it? Could the Players Association have something to say about it? Is there anybody that would put a stop to that if they wanted to institute?
Well, I mean, the thing that would stop it is, I guess, even the Japanese teams would say, well, you're limiting their free agency if you turn it into a draft. You know, let's say they get drafted by the Pittsburgh Pirates. Pittsburgh Pirates can't pay you what the Dodgers. Let's say they drafted Yamamoto, but there has to be something that you can't just funnel every great Japanese player to the Dodgers. That means that 29 other teams are at a distinct disadvantage. Richard in Manhattan. Richard.
Hi, Michael, Don, Peter. You know, fellas, when the last time was when the Giants and Jets were this unwatchable this early in the football season?
No, when?
1987, the replacement teams. Giants didn't go after any replacements. No. Parcells didn't want to insult the Super Bowl champion team, so he didn't care. And the Jets were terrible. What turned it around was when Lawrence Taylor and Mark Gastineau crossed the picket lines. Then at least you can watch them with the replacement players. Fellas, Thibodeau was at his old self again. He played the 5 starters last night, 200 minutes. It's the 9th game of the year, and each of the starters are playing 40 minutes. He's got to start playing some of the subs and giving some of these guys a break. Don, I hope you're doing the game tomorrow night. You're a good luck charm. Are you?
I am not. I'll be at the game. I'll be doing the pre and post, but I'm not doing
all right,
the
you were a great call on Saturday. And
Thank
Don,
you.
if it's up to me, I play Jonathan Quick.
Well, I think he's the backup, so I think you're going to see.
Play, and Ovechkin, Don, 10 goals in 14 games. That's unbelievable. 10 goals. One last thing, fellas. Daniel Jones, we've seen before. He's Joe Pisarcik. Great guy, tough as nails. Fans love him as far as his personality, but he's not a quarterback in the NFL. Daniel Jones, Joe Pisarcik. Fellas, always a pleasure. Thank you guys.
So Don, he brought up Quick. And Stan Fischler on Twitter, I don't know if you saw this.
Oh, I've been seeing it.
He's not a proponent of signing a big money goaltender contract to Shesterkin, and he's a proponent of starting Quick. What are your thoughts on this?
No, it's Quick is 38 years old. He's a nice story. He's your backup quarterback, a backup goaltender. Igor Shesterkin has been great, and the idea that, like, what I don't like about what the Maven's doing, I love the guy, all right, and all the respect in the world. He's calling them names. He's trolling, Michael. I don't. Nobody's going to call Stan Fischler out because he's Stan Fischler and he's in his 90s and he's great and he's in the Hall of Fame. But come on, he's being really unfair. Have you seen some of these tweets just making fun of? I got to find them, but I think he's borderline out of line. He's entitled to his opinion. It's not that terrible of opinion, Michael, but the names he's calling, I got to punch it up. But
and also, I mean, to advocate for moving forward with a 38-year-old goaltender, it's a little much.
Yeah, I'm just trying to see like what some of the names like. It's just I think it's just unfair. The things that he keeps calling them. Anthony, what are I'm just trying to find. I don't want to waste any more time looking
Iggy
for
Piggy?
it. Iggy Piggy, and it's come on.
How many rubles will Shesterkin need in order to?
The Cha-Ching King. Dude, he's asking for his money, and listen. He got offered $11 million and turned it down. Like, I understand the opinion, but like making it seem like he's a bad guy.
Are you trying to say Pierre Datmian has money?
I think Stan's. I think he's in a groove. He's feeling it, and knows he's not going to get called out.
Florida's FBS and FCS teams, they were 0-9 over the weekend.
Jabroni!
The Bucks lost. The Jags lost. Can the Dolphins salvage any Florida pride today?
Well, you know who was hoping.
Who?
It was Booney.
Oh, he's got the Dolphins.
It's a bizarre pick. I don't know. Did the Rams get back a lot of their questionables? Because they had a lot of questionables on Friday.
Did that line go from 1 to 2.5?
Sure did.
Yeah.
He's getting it at 1.
You know, he got it at 1 on Friday when they had like 12 players who did not participate. But I said to Anthony that day, I'm like, but at the same time, the game's Monday, so people not participating on Friday, who cares? So I love the Rams tonight. I'm a coward. I should have picked them. I loved Arizona. I'm a coward. I didn't pick them.
And we're both losers, baby.
I'm such a loser this year.
Anyway, what a show today. Exciting,
It was really good.
Informative. Don won point guard, fair and square. I love it. I loved everything about the show. And tomorrow, from what I'm hearing, it's going to be even better.
I see.
Yeah, Morris, that's true. So please be there for us because we'll be there for you. What's coming up next?
Dan Grassa.
Dan Grassa, full frontal. I love it.
Wow.
Yeah. So we'll go out with the help of our good friend Billy Joel.
That's a wrap on the show for today. Coming up next, the Dennis Schroeder story, followed immediately by our coverage of the Nets and Pelicans when the pregame show comes your way at 7:30. For all of us here on the Michael K. Show, this is Chris Sheeran saying have a great night. Enjoy the Nets game. We'll see you tomorrow at 3 o'clock.
The Michael K. Show on Yes is presented by Untuck It. Shirts designed to be worn untucked. Shop now at untuckit.com.
Untuck It makes every guy look better. From tall to short, from big to slim. From our iconic button-downs for all shapes and sizes to a whole lot more. Try us today.